All right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. We have a lot to get into as per always. Today, we're talking about Superman, Peacemaker, Top Gun Maverick, well, actually, potentially Top Gun 3 as well, because Paramount is suing the writer's cousin for Top Gun Maverick, which is a follow-up on a story from earlier that we covered in the past few months' time. And, of course, we have a lot of rumors coming out of the MCU. Is Chris Evans actually going to be in Avengers Doomsday? How big will his role be? There's another rumor about who Sadie Sink might be playing in Spider-Man 4. There is also a potential James Bond in the making. There was an actor who actually did a reading from the sides of an old James Bond movie for Denis Villeneuve. Does that mean he is the front runner for the new Bond? We'll talk about that. Of course, Peacemaker dropped a new Red Band trailer, and as the thumbnail says, we have to talk about, of course, the real reason behind why Superman is getting an early release on digital. So to do that and so much more, let's get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
Give
me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, okay. Like I said, it's going to be a packed show. We have a ton of news to get into. Marvel, DC, of course, we have the quick hits. And after that, we'll get into all the other DC news that we don't get to in the news. We also have to review, of course, Freakier Friday, because we got movie madness today. Speaking of which, Liz, how are you doing today? I know you are going to be reviewing Freaky Friday a little bit later. How was your day today? Oh, I think you're muted.
I am muted. It was lovely, thank you. Spent a little time outside. It was hot over here, gang. It was hot today. But I hope everybody's feeling nice and cool and calm and collected and ready to go. Hey, everybody.
It's a packed show. We have a number of news items to get into before we even get to the Freakier Friday review. So let's get things started there. But before we do, I just wanted to say hello to Monique in the chat. Hello, Monique. How are you doing? We've got Patrick in the chat already. Steven is here. Yeah, we are running a little bit late, but Liz, I don't know if you were eating anything.
No.
I have no idea why Steven just, has these wild theories. I was drinking something, but, it's just mostly like flavored water. Nelson is here. What's up, Nelson? How are you doing? So with that in mind, Scooby-Doo news. Really? I didn't see anything. I mean, I don't know, Steven. If there's something you came up with, then send it over. We'll see if we can fit it in. But hey, Right Dude is here as well. So hello, Right Dude. All right. With that, let's get the news started. The very first thing I want to get into today, well, Paramount, if you guys remember, for a long time, there was a lawsuit going on with Top Gun Maverick specifically, because the cousin to one of the writers for Top Gun Maverick was suing Paramount because he was alleging that he should have gotten a writing credit for the movie because he wrote parts of the script alongside his cousin, who was actually one of the writers credited to the movie. That was recently dismissed, at least partly on the copyright part of it, that there wasn't a copyright infringement, but part of it he could kind of continue on with, so his claim was entirely not dismissed. But now with Paramount under new ownership, David Ellison and his Skydance, which basically at least partly financed Top Gun Maverick as well as many of Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movies, now that David Ellison actually is in charge of all of Paramount and the entire IP that is Top Gun Maverick, well, and beyond that, of course, just Top Gun in general, he's going on the offensive. And Liz, it looks like Paramount is now suing Top Gun Maverick writer's cousin back Of course, like I said, he claimed that he authored key action scenes in the movie. Sean Gray, of course, is the name of the cousin to screenwriter Eric Warren Singer. And now Paramount is sort of turning the tables and accusing him of fraud and copyright infringement for hiding his role in writing the screenplay for the film. I think there's actually a statement here in the Deadline article I wanted to quickly get into. This is part of the lawsuit that was filed. Officially, it says in the lawsuit, with these counterclaims, PPC, aka Paramount Pictures Corporation, sets the record straight about who is the true aggrieved party in its dispute with Sean Gray. Liz, what are your thoughts on this? David Ellison, as they say here in the headline, takes the gloves off, and he's going on the offensive. Essentially, he talked about the other day, yesterday we were talking about how Top Gun is a big priority for them as a franchise. So are you surprised to see this, and what do you make of this whole situation?
No, I'm not surprised. Paramount is quickly becoming the way of Apple and Amazon, where I want to boycott them so badly. I want nothing to do with them, but unfortunately they have become such this overpowering, all-encompassing entity that they are connected to everything that I enjoy and care about, and it really sucks because they drive me insane with this stupid crap. They don't have money, but they have money, but they don't have money, so we're just going to sue everybody in order to get our money back. Could you just make stuff and cut it? I'm over it. I'm over all of it. Yes, I understand the copyright infringement situation. I understand that they should have made themselves known if they were a part of the production. I understand that argument, that aspect of it, but I'm tired of seeing Paramount's stupid name everywhere, because I just want them to go away, and they won't, and they're attached to everything that we love and care about, and it's really annoying. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of all of it.
Yeah, to me, it's kind of like comedy at this point. I looked at this, and I'm like, okay, great.
It's pathetic. It's not even funny. It's pathetic.
I'm like, what is Sean Gray gonna do? This is, there's nothing that Sean Gray has that Paramount wants other than just to tell him go F off. We will, take you for every last penny that you might or might not have.
They're going the way of our current government administration, where it's like, oh, you made a comment we didn't like, so now we're gonna slap you with a lawsuit.
To be fair though, in this case, Paramount has been dealing with this expensive lawsuit about Top Gun Maverick for a while, which again was part of it was a two-part claim. A big chunk of it was already dismissed, and chances are the rest of it was going to get settled out of court anyway. So I suppose at that level, Paramount could have just been like, all right, we got it. It's done with. It's out of the way. But I understand that, when you look at that article, again, we talked about it yesterday, David Ellison is seeing not only Star Trek, and I totally forgot that he mentioned World War Z of all the franchises, but especially Top Gun as one of his bigger IPs. And I think for David Ellison and the new leadership team, what they're doing here is they want to basically stake their claim and be like, this is our playground, and we don't want any legal challenges to this stuff before we start making, significant investments in Top Gun 3 or, other franchises that they have. So I understand it from that perspective. It's still a little petty in the sense that I'm there's no monies that, Sean Gray has or anything else that, Paramount, really cares for. This is about reputation. This is about, just making sure legally they're protected. So if they move forward with the third Top Gun, anything like this doesn't come into play, and just kind of setting a line in the sand for the future of if you're gonna mess with this new Paramount, they'll come after you back. Which, look, I sort of appreciate that, but at the same time, Liz, I understand that this is definitely petty. We haven't talked about Superman yet,
and also,
so don't you worry.
Abysmal? What are you talking about? Abysmal? Are you out of your mind? What kind of money do you make? How is what? Abysmal? Okay.
It was not abysmal at all.
All right. Sure thing.
By the way, I wasn't the biggest fan of World War Z, although it was Brad Pitt's highest, grossing movie until F1. I don't know, Liz, did you watch F1 World War Z?
I liked it, and then someone told me what the actual original ending in the book was, and I got the ick, and now I can't think of that film without thinking of the actual real story, and it's so creepy and terrible. So I don't know. I love Bullet Train, Patrick. Bullet Train is one of my favorite films. I will watch that whenever it comes on. The soundtrack's also incredible. I downloaded that immediately. Brad Pitt's got some bangers out there. I did enjoy World War Z, like I said, but now I can't. I get the ick every time I think about it.
It's all good. I mean, it's all good. Bullet Train for me is a fun movie. World War Z, I'm not a big zombie movie fan, so I personally am not somebody who's going to be looking forward to a sequel to that movie or spin-offs or whatever. But I understand that they want to turn it into a franchise. But speaking of franchises, not necessarily a franchise, but certainly the director behind The Strangers, which was a terrible movie. They have a part 2 coming out soon, but clearly it looks like the writer director Brian Bertino, who worked on The Strangers, his next movie, Paramount sort of has downgraded now, removing it from the theatrical calendar, and now is just going straight to Paramount Plus. I'm not surprised, because as John would tell you, that was a terrible movie, The Strangers Part 1. I mean, I don't even know if anybody's looking forward to Part 2. But Liz, are you surprised? Okay,
I love
so I know
Strangers.
You loved it. Great. There we go. That's fair. But I'm not surprised personally that Vicious is not going to be hitting theaters. Dakota Fanning, of course, she's been doing some more horror, and was it Elle Fanning is in that new Predator movie, right?
Yes.
So yeah, both the Fanning sisters up to all kinds of horror shenanigans, I guess you could say. But hey, Paramount, on the move, whether it's suing to get Sean Gray out of the way and be done with. I think it's also meant to maybe intimidate him from hey, you better settle or rescind or whatever the other part of the lawsuit that he had filed against Paramount, because we're coming after you on the copyright infringement side, which is what was dismissed. So Sean Gray already lost that argument against Paramount. Now Paramount is countersuing him, which is, hey, we'll see where that goes. We'll follow the story. You guys let us know. What do you think about all the moves that David Ellison and co are making at New Paramount? We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Okay. Now let's dive into a little bit of DC news, because of course we've been talking about how Superman has kicked off the new DCU, but with that comes a lot of expectations. And Liz, we now know that not only do we think as the fans that the bar is high, and we suspected that everybody working behind the scenes also thought the same, but as part of a new featurette, which is going to be part of the new Superman digital release, we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But it's one of the many features that you will see on the digital release, on the Blu-ray release as well. They've put it out online. They released it through Entertainment Weekly, and in that feature, the entire team, not just the filmmakers behind the scenes like Peter Safran and James Gunn, but also the actors as well in the new Superman movie, they're all talking about how it's the pressure is on. The bar is high, as Rachel Brosnahan said. They have a whole new universe that they're now kicking off, and they got to get it right. And Liz, it's not surprising to hear that, but what did you think about it? I know you had a chance to check this out. It looks impressive. Again, you get more behind the scenes look at the movie. Are you surprised by the comments from Rachel Brosnahan? What she says, like, look, the bar is high, pressure's on. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it does underscore the importance of this movie.
No, I think everybody gets it. Again, they're not hoping that this is a one-off. They want it to lead into other projects. They want it to lead into future Superman films. So no, they understand the stakes, and they understand what needs to happen in order for that to come to fruition. So I think everybody being on board, everyone backing that, I think Rachel had made that comment early days that she wants to continue to play Lois for the next 10, 20 years.
Oh, yes.
So
Yep.
hopefully that happens.
Yeah, she described it like she's like sort of hooked on action movies now. Like she wants to do more of these. And I mean, Nicholas Hoult, this is not his first time doing a comic book movie either, but you can tell that every time he talks about his experience is glowing. And then, of course, David Cornsweet, we talked about on yesterday's show, he had this really spirited argument with James Gunn talking about that scene towards the end of the movie when he's facing off at Lex Luthor and the emotional stakes there and that monologue that Superman has. So clearly everybody is on the same page. The pressure is on. The bar is high, and as it should be. And alongside that featurette, they have also released, some other clips, including there's a clip here. So I'm just going to go through these really quickly. We don't have to watch all of them, but This clip is directly from the movie, Liz. I'm sure you remember it. This is when
Yep.
Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane step into the pocket dimension. They find Baby Joey and Metamorpho and Superman, and they're all like, trying to get themselves out of this mess, including what I don't know what they called it. Like, was it anti-proton lava or something?
Yeah.
And the black hole. And then, of course, we talked about the DC Takes Off featurette, bars high, pressure's on. But the biggest thing that I think they put out is this animated Crypto Saves the Day short, Liz. I don't know if you had a chance to check this out, but it's one of the one of the more exciting things. It's super cute. Like, what did you think about it?
No, yeah, just that. Super cute. I mean, listen, I don't like everything to be on the shoulders of one particular character one way or the other, and I think they're really cashing in on Crypto, which, okay, like, I get it, but the film's not all about this dog, and I'm kind of getting to the point with Mr. Terrific where I'm like, you brought that dog, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, we got it. Like, yep, there's a dog in this movie. Cool. Like, we can move along. Again, super cute. I like it, but I'm over it. I'm getting over it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is what I wonder is if this is the same, like, this is part one of the same set of shorts that we're gonna get potentially down the road, where James Gunn, I mean, obviously we know this one is gonna be part of the deleted scenes, the special features in the Blu-ray release and the digital release, which is coming out in literally hours from when we're doing the show live. But I wonder if this is also one of the seasonal animated shorts that they talked about. Like James Gunn mentioned that, we're doing these series of Crypto shorts. And I think at the time we were thinking, maybe it's going to be the CGI Crypto from the movie and like Groot, not Groot. Yeah, the baby Groot like shorts that they had on Disney Plus. But if this is indeed what we're getting, then I don't know. Like, it's,
I mean, I like it if he's showcasing other artists' work and he's giving other people, jobs, like, I'm fine with it. But again, like, another thing about the dog, like, all right, is the dog gonna become like an Air Bud franchise where now it's gonna be the Adventures of Crypto? Like, I can't.
I mean, Crypto's cute. I'm all for it. If this is what we're getting and more of, then give it to me. I just personally was expecting that they were going to give us like a live action, like live action CGI version of Crypto rather than this, because this feels, again, it feels like a bit of a downgrade, because I was expecting what they did with Baby Groot, and obviously, James Gunn was part of the one in charge of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I figured they were going to go in the same direction. However, to be fair, this is not something that James Gunn has said like, oh yeah, this is one of the many seasonal shorts. This might just be a special little thing that they included within the Superman Blu-ray and digital release. So with that, of course, they also have been advertising that tomorrow, which is, like I said, depending on when you're watching the show, most likely it's today, on Friday the 15th, when Superman comes out on digital. So guys, let us know in the comments down below, what do you think about all those special behind the scenes features? And Rachel Brosnan saying that, hey, the bar is high and pressure's on to get things right in this new DCU. We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. In the meantime, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about some movie talk madness. Movie talk madness is where we get into movie reviews. We talk about some other movie news. Today, the very first thing we're going to talk about in movie talk madness, if I can get my throat to clear, is, well, Freaky Friday is a movie that is over 20 years old, and we're getting another legacy sequel to a 20-plus-year-old franchise, kind of like what we've been getting with like Top Gun Maverick. There's other examples of it, but Freakier Friday is the first one that Disney has kind of brought back in a long time. Liz, I know that you saw Freakier Friday as part of the many movies that you've been able to check out on a weekly basis.
I sure did.
I don't know, based on the reviews, the movie sounds fun and brings the nostalgia. And actually, I was surprised how high the Rotten Tomatoes ratings were. But
yeah,
I want to hear from you what you thought about the movie itself.
Listen, when when Freaky Friday came out, that was a move, man. That was something. I mean, for to see somebody like Jamie Lee Curtis in a film with Lindsay Lohan, who was on a high trajectory at the time. Like that was peak Lindsay Lohan when that film came out. So a lot of people had their feelings about it. They couldn't wait for this one, and I was one of them. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Listen, it's a kids movie. It's supposed to be for kids. It's supposed to be for like preteens. It was a lot of fun. It had a ton of heart. It was super cute. The actress that plays Lindsay Lohan's daughter, she was in American Mom. I love her. I'm going to try and pull her up here. Of course, none of the pictures match with whatever. I can't find her name right now, but it was a lot of fun. And you guys, Manny Jacinto, is that how we pronounce it? Jacinto? Manny Jacinto plays Lindsay Lohan's fiance. He was at Boston Fan Expo. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's Manny from The Good Place. Like, all right, like I'll catch him another time. I had no idea he was in this movie. And then I sit down to Freakier Friday the next day, and I was like, shit, I should have got his autograph, because he's really not in the trailer a whole lot.
He's on the left of that image.
Yeah. So I just didn't realize that it was him. I feel like such a dick. I missed my chance to get an autograph, but hopefully he'll come around again. But it was a lot of fun, a ton of heart. Again, the same overall theme from the first one. They switch bodies with their daughter and granddaughter. The two girls don't get along. Their parents are engaged. They're trying to break up their parents. They're trying to, break up this wedding so that they can go their separate ways. Manny and his daughter come from England. They want to go back there. Lindsay Lohan and her daughter are in California. They want to stay there. So it was so fun. It was a really good time. And they brought back a lot of people from the original film. You saw, and again, I'm blanking on his name too. Chad Michael Murray, you saw him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. So again, if you've got, preteens, maybe check it out with them. And seeing Jamie Lee Curtis in these outrageous outfits was pretty fun too. I need that.
It looks
purse.
great.
I need that purse.
I mean, yeah. she still looks amazing. I mean, as does Lindsay Lohan, and of course,
Lindsay looks great. Yeah, everybody looks really good.
I have not seen that image yet,
These
but
outfits,
that is
I don't know. It's
hilarious. That is wild. What did you think about? I mean, in this movie, they kind of make things feel a little more complicated, because it's not just mother-daughter switching bodies. It's more than that, right? Because there's so what is it, like a four-way switch? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
so they
that confusing
with the grandchildren, and well, sure, of course it is. And again, much like the original plot, they decide, okay, until we can figure out how to switch back, we need to convince everybody that we are still that person, and so it just hilarity ensues and wild outfits. So.
Absolutely. And then when I mentioned earlier, look at the Rotten Tomatoes score. I know it's not like 95 or anything like that, but it actually started off 97. It has dropped to 73%, but still with over 200 reviews, it's certified fresh, and the audience rating is in the 90s, 92%, which is even better. Like I didn't expect it to perform as well as it has. Obviously, people love it. The critics like it. You look at all these characters that you talked about. We don't have to go through every single one of them, but Lindsay Lohan and of course Jamie Lee Curtis are the big ones. But again, I was
there it is.
Personally surprised to hear some of these.
She was an American Mom. I just love her. I think she's great. I'm excited to see what more she does. She did a really good job in this one. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, then you had Sophia Hammonds as well. So they're meant to be sisters, right? Like that's the idea.
They're going to be stepsisters. So their parents are engaged. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Okay, now I'm understanding. I was kind of confused. I'm like, they don't really look like sisters. But okay. By the way, just want to mention this. I know, Brogu, look, I appreciate your take that you weren't the biggest fan of this, and you didn't necessarily want to go see it because it's another sequel. I will say this though. Yes, there's a lot of remakes and a lot of sequels in Hollywood and spin-offs and stuff, but there's more original movies now than ever before. They're just not, seen as much because they're not always the movies that get the most money put behind them,
or they don't get a theatrical release, or the marketing's not there.
Like Liz, you can speak to that better than probably anybody because you see so many movies.
I sure do.
You could probably, most people can count on maybe one hand the amount of original movies they have seen in a year.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you to list out like a few,
Well, I mean, for example, you know, a friend of mine who actually works at my movie theater and I were just talking because I said, oh, I didn't get a chance to see My Mother's Wedding with Scarlett Johansson that just dropped last week. And we were both like, yeah, because they didn't market it worth a damn. Yeah. So there are a lot of original films out there with big stars, with you know, audience drawing actors and actresses, but if they don't get marketed, if they're not put out in front of the right audience, if they pull them too soon because they think, oh, they're not raking in a ton of money, so we're just going to get rid of it, which it does happen, and that was the case with this film in particular. That's what happens. Like, you know, and films like the Stands that just came out, which I know we're going to talk about later on, Eminem's film, did not end up in my theater. I would have gone and seen it. I would have been there. I would have purchased a ticket and enjoyed seeing it on the big screen. It just didn't come around to me. So it's about marketing. It's about where the distribution ends up. It's, you know, there's a couple of different things going on. And again, as we have talked about at this point ad nauseum, the entire world's mental health is at a point whereas we are not putting forth effort or our hard-earned dollars unless we know we're going to be getting a benefit out of it. So that's why these remakes are so popular. That's why these sequels are so popular. It's because it's a franchise we know and love. We know it's not going to let us down. So that's why people are doing it. I appreciate that maybe you don't agree. Maybe you're sick and tired of all of it. But at the end of the day, I want to go see something that I know is going to make me happy and that I'm willing to, and also that I can shut my brain off. Like, I know I can shut my brain off for this. I don't have to invest in anything. Yeah. I already know the storyline. I know the cast. Yeah. I'm going into it just expecting to have a good time. And that's what I got. So, you know, I'm not mad about it. I had a nice time.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about later in the quick hits how the Lohanaissance is going to be continuing onward, because we not only did we get a lot of Lindsay Lohan and of course, I mean, we got Elaine Hendricks.
I'm so happy for
back. Her. It's Chad Michael Murray. Oh my, that dude still looks.
I mean,
great.
He was in my town a couple months ago for Gilmore Girls weekend. So missed him, but whoo.
Yeah. Well, Steven is eating some cheesesteak right now. That's great, Steven. That's great. I'm not eating anything right now, but the watcher chiming in as well. We will talk about Marvel stuff in a little bit, but hey, we're talking about right now Movie Talk Madness and Freakier Friday, of course, doing well at the box office for a movie that nobody was expecting to make like $1 billion, but like, you know, it's doing enough business to justify its existence, and it's loved by the critics and the audiences. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about it. Like Steven, for example, in the live chat telling us that this is bringing Lindsay Lohan back on track in her career, which is great to see. But hey, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about Freakier Friday, and if you got a chance to go see it, and we'd love to talk about it more in the future, depending on, you know, if Lindsay Lohan is up to anything else. With that said, though, we're going to move on to the next thing in Movie Talk Madness. I mentioned earlier, I mean, you guys mentioned, speaking of original movies that are actually doing good right now, not that many usually do as well, especially in the horror genre, Liz, but Weapons is currently out there and is doing some baller business at the box office. Of course, we had Sinners earlier this year, another original horror film. But here we go, because Weapons has just become, and it's a rare thing to happen.
I really want to see it. I do really want to see it. I just, like, it's too much. It's too much.
It's not an original horror movie. I'm sorry, it is an original horror movie. It's not a sequel. It's not a spin-off. It's not, you know, a prequel movie to another horror franchise. It's not a Halloween sequel. It's not a I Know What You Did Last Summer requel. It's an original horror movie, and it's rare for an original horror movie to cross $100 million in theaters. Weapons has done that now, Liz. That is significant. When you look at it, the horror genre generally is doing well. You look at the average box office market share for movies in general is going down. The horror genre is going up. And then this makes, when you look at the recent horror movies, outside of Sinners, this makes Weapons like the highest grossing, at least so far, of an original horror movie that's not part of a franchise. So to me, this is quite impressive, especially because when you look at it, horror is, by box office numbers, the sixth, you know, most profitable or highest grossing genre in the game. So what are your thoughts on Weapons just clearly it's gonna have the second weekend at the top of the box office, which nobody expected that it was gonna open up number 1 above Freakier Friday and now stay number 1 above Nobody 2, two other more well-known properties. Liz, what do you think about the achievement that it's got at the box office?
I mean, it's really not surprising to me. They advertise this sucker heavily. I think almost every film that I sat down to, with maybe the exception of like The Bad Guys 2, like any of the kids movies, the trailer played in front of it. They've been doing really, really well, getting in the, you know, the interview circuit, marketing the film, getting their actors out there to talk about it. And horror always does well. I mean, I remember from my days working at the movie theater, every time a horror film came out that weekend, it was packed. People were there to see it. So it doesn't surprise me at all. And again, especially given the way things are right now in the world, again, a lot of people want to just go and see something that allows them to shut their brains off, that they don't have to think about, that they're not going to carry with them later on. And the horror genre delivers that every single time, because it's usually so outrageous and so, you know, and not to be insulting, but so far-fetched, that, you know, people just go and just sit in the experience. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it's making these kinds of numbers. I think that's pretty amazing, and good for Julia Garner. Girlfriend is killing it this summer.
Yeah, it's somehow become like the summer of Julia Garner out of nowhere, because if you think about it, like her movies between Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four First Steps, and now Weapons, she's had what, like 4 or 5 weeks at the top of the box office. Like her movies, that is, I didn't think that you'd be talking about Julia Garner in the same sentence as, I don't know, like Superman, for example, which, or like if you talk about other stars like F1 or like Brad Pitt, you'd expect a Brad Pitt movie to move. It's just Julia Garner's kind of come out of nowhere and done a number on us in a way that I think nobody expected. Not to mention the casting, I mean, could have been very different for Weapons. I heard that Pedro Pascal might have been in the movie. I mean, that could have been a very different version of the film. But Liz, I know that you're really excited about seeing Weapons. Do you think
I'm
you
not
will get
seeing
a chance?
it. I'm not seeing it. Absolutely not.
Oh no,
it's way
so
too
you're
intense
not
for me. I want to see
Okay.
it, but absolutely not. I will not. Absolutely. No, sir. You see this
Okay.
guy right there? Do you see this guy? I'm not going to see that guy. No,
That's
absolutely
Wong.
not.
That's
No.
the Sorcerer Supreme right there.
That's Benedict? Oh my God. No, that's awful. Well, again, good for Julia. Even if she wasn't in a Marvel film, she's working with all these Marvel stars, so that's awesome. Good for her. But no, absolutely not. Again, I've met the wonderful Josh Brolin. His hand was on this shoulder for about 3 minutes. I'm still not going to see this movie. Sorry. I love you, Josh. I'll see you in other things.
I don't blame you necessarily, but
Nope. I had no idea that was Benedict. Holy cow. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean,
No, sir. Not for me.
I don't think this is a spoiler, by the way, this image, but yeah, Weapons is a twisty genre bending movie.
Yeah, no, that image isn't a spoiler, but you couldn't have, I would not have known that was Benedict. That's wild.
No. It's not that is Benedict Wong.
His name is also Benedict. They're both Benedicts.
Yes. Not Benedict Cumberbatch. We're talking about Benedict Wong.
I believe his name is Benedict Wong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Who plays Wong in the MCU.
Yeah,
Frankie.
so Wong is Wong. Yeah.
Apparently that's what happened. You know, apparently he became a zombie for reals after. So there you go. I mean, we got it. We're on the same page. I know you're not the only one, Brogu. We have talked about that before. There is some Pedro fatigue out there.
You don't talk about Pedro like that. Nope. You
Liz
deal
is not
with
gonna,
it. You
Liz
deal
is
with
not
it.
going to stand for that. Definitely
It's
not
Taylor
gonna stand for
Swift
that.
and it's Pedro Pascal, and you deal with it.
Well, I'm just excited that the horror genre is doing well, because while I personally am not the biggest horror fan, I really love a good mystery thriller horror kind of a movie. You know, Shutter Island for me is one of my favorites. The Jurassic franchise technically I think counts as a horror, at least part horror. And Weapons is the kind of movie that, you know, I can just watch it at night and then have to watch an episode or two of The Office and a bunch of episodes of Friends before I fall asleep. Otherwise,
I gotta watch
have nightmares.
it in the middle of the day, and I need to watch 4 other comedies afterward.
No, exactly. But this is the thing about me, is like I would watch 5 episodes of X-Files and then like either lie awake in bed or like have to watch a mini Friends marathon before I would go to sleep. So
that's fair.
Anyway, All right, guys. Well, let us know in the comments down below what you think about Weapons. It has now crossed $100 million at the box office. This is, of course, the worldwide numbers. It's become a rarity. I mean, it's one of two this year movies that are original horror films crossing the $100 million mark. Of course, the other one was Sinners, another fantastic effort, both coming to us from Warner Brothers. Do you think this is also a sign of things to come with the new Warner Brothers regime? And then also, if you have seen Weapons, let us know in the comments down below what you thought about it. So, with that, right now, we're going to move into talking about another DC story. Of course, we have the full DCU Daily segment later, and we got plenty of Peacemaker and Superman news. But before we get that far, we were meant to kind of talk about this on yesterday's show, and I sort of pitched it, but then I kind of forgot about it. So we will get into that now. Bass is in the chat. Hello, Bass. How are you doing today? So with that in mind, let's talk about James Gunn and what he said about a certain character that if John was on the show, he would be just revving up to rant about right now. So recently, James Gunn was asked, I think he was being interviewed by Entertainment Weekly. He was asked about, hey, Margot Robbie was a big part of the DCEU. You even brought her in, her version of Harley Quinn, into The Suicide Squad movie back in the 2021. Would you like to bring her back or any of those other characters? I mean, obviously, Peacemaker, John Cena, Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. We have seen a number of those characters cross over into this new universe. The question became, are we going to do the same with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn? So, Liz, it looks like James Gunn gave us an answer that is kind of like very James Gunn of him to do, which is he didn't say yes, he didn't say no. He simply said it will be revealed down the line. Are you surprised that he's kind of leaving the door open here? And what do you think it means?
No.
Do you think this is because he hasn't really thought about it, or maybe Margot Robbie hasn't given him an answer? Like, what do you think is going on behind the response?
No, I mean, he even says further down in the line in the article that like it's Harley Quinn is a lot for him, and he just kind of needed a break a little bit, like before he started thinking about bringing her back in. He's certainly not going to rule it out because Peacemaker was a part of those films, and so it all still would work bringing her back, bringing her in, even though we're kind of turning over a new leaf at DC. But no, I think he's smart to kind of leave the door open. He knows she's a fan favorite. He knows Margot will put in 100%, as John Cena does. So I think he just wants it to make sense rather than just James Gunn is not after the cash grab. He is not after just making shit in order for him to get a nice check out of the deal. Like, he is very thoughtful in the things that he does and the projects that he puts forth. So I think that's just, again, another kind of peek behind the curtain, which he seems to give us on the daily basis. But it needs to make sense for him to bring characters into the fold. So he's just waiting for the right time. And I appreciate that myself.
Yeah. I hear you, and I totally agree, because it just seems to me like maybe he wants to do it, but right now is not the right time. He's already got a slate full of projects that are in development, and Margot Robbie,
and she has her own stuff going on too. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, exactly. By the way, we've got great Game Freakness and Ron in the chat. Ron is kind of doubtful that Margot Robbie would come back. Game Freakness saying, I think she's great as Harley Quinn. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I mean, she's got a film with she's got a film with the Penguin coming out pretty soon. So like she's in the DC orbit already right now. It's very possible. Yeah. Although Birds of Prey is in canon, you can easily, like Watcher was saying, bring Margot Robbie back in as the canonical Harley Quinn for the new DCU, which I wouldn't mind seeing. And Enterprising is here. Hello, Enterprising. Well, and again, Peacemaker has already appeared with her, so it's not far fetched that he would use the same actress over again. Yeah. I mean, hey, if they're still in negotiations, Monique making a good point. Like, he wouldn't be able to tell you yay or nay, which I totally understand. Also. So with that reasoning in mind, James Gunn also hinted at one other thing. So again, this is the original article in Entertainment Weekly, and he did talk about, in the same breath as Harley Quinn, he was a lot more certain about what he said regarding, of course, Idris Elba's Bloodsport, who was originally, if you remember, Liz, he was kind of cast as sort of the stand-in, but not the same character. He wasn't Deadshot. He was Bloodsport, different character. This character's claim to fame is that he shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet, or and basically made Superman bleed, which I suppose the bleeding part is not unique in the DCU, but I remember talking about it a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, Liz, but
James Gunn this is not the first time he has hinted that Bloodsport will potentially cross over into the new cinematic universe. But speaking of Idris Elba, James Gunn said, I'm definitely always looking for a place to put Bloodsport and figuring that out. So we'll see.
He seems to
what
really like
happens.
that character. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, are you thinking at this point? Are you sure that we're gonna get Idris Elba potentially as Bloodsport back in the DCU? And if so, where would you like to potentially see him? Do you want to see him in a movie, or does he maybe do a cameo in Peacemaker? Like, would you expect to see him in a couple of weeks when Peacemaker season 2 airs?
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. I think Idris's game. He has a really good attitude about roles like that, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if the timing was right, if the price was right, if the script was right, I'm sure he would come back.
Yeah, hit the like button, by the way, Enterprising. Hit that like. Actually, Enterprising telling us to do it. So if you guys are watching, hit that like button if you're enjoying the show, because we appreciate it. It's a little click, one little click for you guys. It does help us out a ton. But yeah, I mean, whether it's Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, whether it is Idris Elba's Bloodsport, I have no problem with either of them. And Idris Elba right now, he's got that show on Apple TV Plus called Hijack, which very much felt like it was a one season, one and done show, but apparently they renewed it for a second season.
And again,
so
he just worked with John Cena as well in Heads of State.
He did.
So I mean, they're all circling each other. Why not work together again?
Yeah, and whether it's Margot Robbie or Idris Elba, I think you've got two A-listers there. So I feel like if they were to bring him back, unless it's like a little cameo, I think we're probably gonna see them in something a little more significant than just a TV show on HBO Max. I'd imagine they want to probably bring them back in a movie. Yeah, I do want to see that scene, Watcher, where we get to have the conversation about how the kryptonite bullet that Superman took from Bloodsport. It probably left a scar or two, so I'm sure David Cornsweat's Clark Kent might have a few things to say to Idris Elba's Bloodsport. So it will be fun to see, like Ron is saying, in Peacemaker Season 2, if that ends up happening. But in the meantime, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you think about the idea of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn potentially coming back into the new DCU as the Harley Quinn that we saw in the DCEU. Of course, she was part of the Suicide Squad, but James Gunn has said isn't entirely canon, but maybe parts of it are. Obviously, John Cena's Peacemaker, Viola Davis's Amanda Waller, the events of Peacemaker Season 1. So does that mean, by that same token, Idris Elba's Bloodsport and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn could also cross into the new dimension that is the DCU? You let us know in the comments down below what you think about it, and we will ask John about it tomorrow just for funsies' sake, so he can give us a little bit of a rant. So with that in mind, I know Liz is gonna step aside for a few minutes because we got to talk about some Marvel rumors, and Liz does not want to have anything spoiled for her. So just a forewarning, again, these are rumors, so take them with a grain of salt. Obviously, most of them probably won't be true, but they do raise some interesting questions. So let's dive into those, shall we? Because we got to talk about Spider-Man rumors. We got to talk about Avengers, Doomsday rumors. There's actually a photo from the set of the Spider-Man Brand New Day that is very interesting, that the Watcher who's watching right now brought to our attention. So the very first thing we're going to do is get into the Sadie Sink, the latest report, the latest rumor around what her mystery role in this new Spider-Man movie is going to be. We have heard from different, scoopers and Hollywood insiders, like, oh, she's going to be playing Gwen Stacy. Maybe she's the actual Mary Jane Watson as opposed to the MJ that Zendaya played. Maybe she's playing some unknown character. Well, the latest report comes to us from the Nexus Point news editor-in-chief, Demet Ko, who, to their credit, Nexus Point News, they're the ones behind DC Film News. I think it's DCU Film News, and a few other outlets. They've broken a few scoops over the past couple of years that have come true, so they've got a decent track record. So now from Demet, who's again the Nexus Point News editor-in-chief, there's a new scoop that we might be seeing Sadie Sink play Annabelle Adams, because that's the name that they're using as potentially a code name for Sadie Sink's Spider-Man Brand New Day character. But there is some, of course, comic book precedence, if you want to call it that. If you read in the article here, it says the MCU's Annabelle could be an amalgamation of different characters, though, so it may not be just one character from the comics. And Shatra may well be this movie's mysterious female villain, created by J. Michael Straczynski and John Romita Jr. Recent interpretations of the character have made her a multiversal big bad and with ties to the Spider-Verse. So do you guys believe this latest rumor, or do you think that maybe Sadie Sink is indeed, after all, playing Jean Grey or Gwen Stacy, or even Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker's daughter? Like, what do you think? Because to me, this rumor is kind of out there. I really can't see if that will be the case, but I mean, look, it's interesting, like Watcher is saying. I personally am not against the idea. I'm not as familiar with the character myself. I still think if Sadie Sink was playing, the neighbor to Peter Parker in his now janky apartment in the middle of New York City, where she just bakes him cookies and stuff, and she is just somebody he doesn't notice, like the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker. I mean, that's just me fantasizing about a potential throwback to the yesteryears of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. But hey. I think if they're casting a Sadie Sink, like somebody who's really well known, I'd imagine they want to have her play somebody more significant. So yeah, Annabelle could be it. You could obviously still see her be Jean Grey. Maybe she is Gwen Stacy. To me, that's probably the most believable one right now. Figure Drawing is here in the chat saying that Sadie kind of looks like Annabelle, the Conjuring doll. There you go. Ron is saying no multiverse. Well, I hope we're not going to get a ton of multiverse moving forward. So. Trey Daniel is saying, I really hope Margot comes back. I think you're watching us a little bit behind, but hello, Trey. Manos is here all the way from France saying hello, Liz and Dan. Liz has stepped away because she doesn't want to get into any of the potential spoilers that rumors could be. So Liz will be back after we talk about these rumors. Speaking of which, the next rumor we got to talk about is Chris Evans. Of course, comicbookmovie.com, we're putting out rumors every hour today. And the new rumor for Chris Evans' Captain America is apparently the way they might explain the story and the involvement of Steve Rogers in the Avengers Doomsday storyline is, remember when he goes back in time to return all the Infinity Stones, and including Thor, and of course Thor's hammer, back to where they got it from in Avengers Endgame? Apparently when he does that, and then he goes and spends the rest of his I guess younger years, quote unquote, with Peggy Carter back in the 40s. In doing so, he has created a bunch of incursions, which Doctor Doom is not happy about. And basically, he wants to kill Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, because he feels like that would result in all those incursions going away. So it seems like if that were the case, then we might be talking about the central conflict in the movie, because I think we have heard it before, like yesterday's show, we were talking about potentially the idea that, hey, for the universe to exist, was like Captain America has to die or something, or for the multiverse to end, Captain America has to die, Steve Rogers has to die. So like, there you go. Yeah, and then Ron, we have also heard the rumor that he might be Hydra Cap, which would be interesting to think about. But I mean, honestly, I don't know if I believe this rumor or not. You guys tell me. Like, would you like to even see Chris Evans back? Because the last time he was talking about this, he was just talking about it in the sense that, it's fun to hear back that they're doing some good stuff over there, but it's sad not to be back with the band. I'm not, I'm sure they're doing something incredible, and I'm sure it's going to be that much harder when it comes out, and you feel like you weren't invited to the party. I mean, and he was talking about it, I think, when he was promoting The Materialist, which he co-starred in with Pedro Pascal, who recently wrapped up his scenes in Avengers Doomsday. So do you think they're secretly having Chris Evans film some stuff for Doomsday, and then Chris Evans just obviously denying it in the public? We would love to know what you guys think, of course. If you are watching live or even after the fact, like Manos Time is saying, Chris Evans that like button. I'm guessing Chris Evans in this case means hit that like button. So I guess hit Chris Evans the like button. Anyway, Chris Evans is awesome. Monique is a big fan. The Watcher saying, I heard Evans will be back, but the reason he will be back will be very upsetting to fans if true. Well, I mean, maybe this is part of it. I mean, I would imagine if he's the reason for all these incursions, then not only will none of the Avengers be happy about that, and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and all these other characters, but potentially, the fans might not be big fans, because we might actually end up seeing Doctor Doom maybe kill Steve Rogers. Like, that's is being hinted in these rumors, that Doctor Doom goes after Steve Rogers, kills him so that he can stop the incursions. I suppose maybe the incursions don't get stopped. At this point, I'm speculating, and that leads us into War World, and anyway, that's how we get to Avengers Endgame. Secret Wars, I should say. Hello, M2G in the chat. How are you doing? I personally, if this rumor comes true, I'm not the biggest fan of it either. So Watcher, I hear you on that one. But hey, we have a couple of more rumors to dive into. The very first one, the next one, I should say, that I want to get into. We've got a couple of more. The Spider-Man Brand New Day, going back into the Spider-Man rumor. This here is now talking about the Savage Hulk coming back, and essentially they're hinting on this in this article that Bruce Banner's appearance in the movie might be much more than just a cameo, and Mark Ruffalo potentially could have a substantial role in the film. This, of course, is still a big rumor, and so take it with a grain of salt. We know that he's pretty much confirmed to be in the movie. I'd imagine if they got Mark Ruffalo to come back, it's probably more than just a couple of scenes, especially if it's a big Spider-Man movie. Otherwise, it also wouldn't make sense why the Punisher would be teaming up with Spider-Man. I mean, it's like they don't really usually hang out together, other than the fact they're in the same city. So, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Gray Hulk, the Watcher saying maybe could be it. We'll have to see. Steven is convinced that Chris Evans is back. So, we'll see. All the talk about, the Savage Hulk, though, it is getting me excited because I want to get the angry Hulk back. I want to get the Hulk that was a nuclear option in the Avengers. I want the Hulk smashed. Like, I want those moments again, because Professor Hulk was fun for a few scenes in Avengers Endgame, but then the fact that he wasn't a part of the fight in Infinity War and they teased that, like, I was disappointed. Then, of course, we don't get much of him in Endgame as well. So, I don't know. Manistime saying, don't get me wrong, I want Savage Hulk back, sure, but I also want a Hulk movie more. Well, and Hulk smashed that like button. I mean, hey, look, here's the thing. If they are going to bring back Savage Hulk, maybe, just maybe, they could be building up to a World War Hulk movie. But I bet you they're not going to call it that, because if they did, if it was a movie that featured the Hulk primarily, then they would have to, basically share revenue with Universal Pictures, who own the distribution rights to the Hulk. So that is still a little bit tricky. So Jordan here saying, hello, how are you doing? Enterprising saying, I like for his monster, the Hulk's monster side, to take over. MTG agrees with me. Frankie G chiming in saying, can't have an MCU without Steve Rogers or Tony Stark. Reboot, please. Well, we know Kevin Feige mentioned they're going to be potentially rebooting very, very soon. So, it's going to be happening after Secret Wars. He did say it wasn't going to be, a full hard reboot. It's probably going to be more of a soft reboot. So some characters will get recast. I'm guessing that's because, what happens at the end of course, Avengers Secret Wars, and that's going to change the continuity up a little bit. Other than that, I don't know who they'll recast and who they won't. I'd imagine the X-Men will be completely new. The Fantastic Four will probably stick around from the version that we just got. So, but it gives them the chance to kind of change a few things up and maybe keep a few other things that are working the same. For example, I'm guessing Doctor Strange won't change. Those kind of things won't change. Go hard or go home. I mean, that's another approach. I just don't think Kevin Feige has the guts to do that, quite frankly. And he admitted to it himself when he was talking about all of that a few weeks ago, actually. Or no, it was in July when he was promoting Fantastic Four. But hey, today's the last day, or was the last day of filming in Glasgow for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So we do have some photos there. And we will talk about more of that later. But hey, Thunderbolts, we now know the new Avengers. When they're coming to Disney Plus, they put out a video announcing that August 27th, you will be able to see the movie on Disney Plus. So I don't know if you're waiting for it, if you have been waiting for it, August 27th, it finally ends up on streaming. It's been months now. I mean, the movie came out, what was it, in April? So it gave it quite a bit of leeway before they're putting it out on streaming. So, I mean, I think you can buy it at home right now or rent it, but you won't get it as part of your Disney Plus subscription until toward the end of this month. So, yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys are big fans of the movie. I personally enjoyed it. I didn't think it was the best Marvel movie of the year, but I mean, it was certainly I kind of flip-flop actually, because on some days I think Thunderbolts is better than Fantastic Four, on some days I think the opposite. So I don't know. You are the Thunderbolts. Yes, Butcher. I do love, or actually Manos. I do love David Harbour. That man has really stepped it up quite a bit. So, and yeah, MTG, I agree with you. I think they are going to probably recast T'Challa. That's probably one of the characters they will recast. Steve Rogers and Tony Stark probably also going to get recast. So I wouldn't worry about those. Ron saying Warner Brothers, Universal, and other studios learn from Disney. Don't put big movies on streaming quickly. Well, there's a difference between what we're talking about here and what Superman is doing, because Superman is going to be streaming on digital, not on HBO Max or anything like that. it's going to be available to rent or buy digitally on August 15th, which is basically now. Whereas for Thunderbolts, it's been available to rent or buy digitally for a long time. So it's just now it's finally hitting Disney Plus. So for HBO Max to get Superman, that will be the equivalent news. And I don't think that's going to happen for months from now. Manos Time, welcoming Lizz back in the chat. Lizz, I do think, Lizz, you might have to step away for maybe like another 30 seconds.
Come on, man. No, I just didn't want to hear about Chris Evans. I didn't want to know.
Yeah. Okay, so are you okay with Spider-Man Brand New Day set photos?
We can talk about Spider-Man. That's totally fine.
All right, cool. So this is one that, and again, it's a spoiler. They even blocked it on Reddit, so you don't accidentally click and see it. But the Watcher mentioned we finally have a look at the Punisher and his van on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Already though, why would he put his logo on the van? Why would he do that? He doesn't want to be associated with the people that are putting his logo on things. He doesn't want to be caught out. He wants to be inconspicuous, but he's gonna put his logo on his own van. I don't know about that. That's weird.
It's a great question.
It's weird.
A great question. I mean,
a weird choice.
Maybe they want to do it because they're trying to introduce the Punisher to a wider audience. Because I mean, we have clearly learned that just because people might be watching a show on Disney Plus doesn't mean everybody, all of the same people are going to see it in a movie theater. True. So, yeah, that's
you're right. When you're right, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
Yep.
It has War Machine vibes. It has 18 vibes. It's a little. I don't know.
Look at it. I want you to look at it. It's comic accuracy, but like the MCU hasn't always followed the same rules there, so there's that too.
Heaven forbid they give me a call. I could help him out, but whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if this van is capable of actually battling it out with an actual tank that we have been seeing Spider-Man chase for the entire time they've been in Glasgow.
He'd have to be a really good welder. I don't know about his mechanic skills on that one, but
Frankie, with a very good reason, he wants to let the scum know he's coming for them, which is a very good reason to do that. There you go. Tony's here. Hello. How are you doing, Tony? Of course, we've got Lizz and myself on the show today, Tony. John is on assignment, as Steven was asking about earlier. He'll be back tomorrow. Yes, Movie Spud. We heard the same. Pedro Pascal is and will continue to play.
You know what? Such haters. Hi, Tony. Such haters up in here. Y'all need to calm down.
That's great.
And you know what? They're going to cast Taylor Swift as Storm.
Oh, yeah, totally. And then Taylor Swift will do a sequel
MJ
to Anora to promote her new album. I don't know. Now I'm taking it too far.
I'll tell you what.
There might be an explanation there. You're not wrong. But hey, John doesn't want to hear about the Margot Robbie. No, he doesn't. I mean, but I'm going to bring it up to him tomorrow anyway because I want him to hear about it.
Poke the
just
bear.
So I can get a reaction.
Poke the bear.
So, yeah, yep. If this Spider-Man movie is great, do you think it will be the best live-action Spider-Man movie, or is there a long way to go to reach that level? Well, I suppose any Spider-Man movie could be the greatest one ever.
That's a really broad question.
Dude,
we don't even know if it could be the worst one ever. There's absolutely no way to be subjective at all. We've only seen stills. We haven't even seen a teaser trailer. We haven't seen that's a really weird question to ask. Okay. And I'm sure everyone will have mixed opinions on it too. I know John in particular, he loves the Spider-Man films, so he'll go see them, but he doesn't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, whereas I love them. I'll probably like it the most out of all three of us, but then sometimes Dan surprises me and Dan likes things that I don't. We haven't seen it yet.
It's
that question.
I think if I were to kind of maybe as an extension of your question, I will say this. There's been probably 2 or 3 Spider-Man movies in total that were so good. I'm they potentially are in the top 25 superhero movies of all time. For this next one to get above them, you have to, you're looking at Spider-Man 2. For a lot of people, maybe even the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I think for me, at least the first one, I personally have a really soft spot for the second Amazing Spider-Man, but the first Amazing Spider-Man was really good. And then, of course, I think with the Tom Holland movies, everybody's gonna have a soft spot for No Way Home. But then I think No Way Home was great. I personally thought Homecoming was better because how good of a job they did with Michael Keaton, the twist and everything. So the bar is high, and the pressure's on, as Rachel Brosnahan would tell you when it comes to Spider-Man. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that another time. We'll see. Liz, have you met RDJ? Have you met Robert Downey Jr. at one of the
yet.
cons?
Not had the opportunity. He did the con circuit prior to when I started going. Like, I shit you not,
Yeah.
he was there like the year before I went. And now that he's just been running around, he's been a little busy, but he's also like semi-retired. So I don't expect him to start making the rounds again anytime soon, if at all, quite frankly. He'll just show up for the panels. But again, he might end up being one of those stars that doesn't do autographs or photo ops anymore. Maybe not until he's much later, much older, but we'll see. He's on the list,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Trey asking, would you like to see Margot Robbie return as Harley Quinn? Good question. We talked about it earlier. I mean, I'm personally, I can go either way. Liz,
Yeah,
I don't know
same.
if you were a big fan.
Yeah, I don't mind her one way or the other. I've never been a huge Harley Quinn fan in general. So who plays her doesn't exactly matter to me. So
yeah. But hey, as far as RDJ goes, I bet you he probably doesn't even go to many cons. But anyway, Angelica's here
again. He was the one last year when he
Yep.
announced himself as Doom. So
yeah, Angelica asking the question. By the way, hello, Angelica, saying Fantastic Four. Like, what is going on? Is suffering bigger and bigger drops. It is. I mean, you look at it real quick. I'll just pull up the box office numbers one more time. We've talked about it, like, you know, for literally weeks now. The numbers aren't good. Like, it's dropping, and it's dropping it dropped by a good 60+% in the second weekend. It dropped another 50% which was actually a little bit better than people expected in a second weekend. But then since then, you could look at the day-by-day numbers. It's gone to a point where on August 13th, Fantastic Four made $1.65 million. You look at Superman, for example, for the same day on August 13th, Superman finally dropped below $1 million for the second time. I mean, it made basically just about the same amount of money the day before. But Superman is in his 34th day of release on August 13th, whereas Fantastic Four, where did it go? Here it is. So many links. The 20th day of release. So you can see the numbers aren't quite the same. Like for Superman when Superman first hit less than $2 million in a single day of box office or at the box office. Let's see. As opposed to day 20 for Fantastic Four, for Superman, the first time it did that kind of money was below 2 million was day 25. So you can see that Superman was doing much better day by day numbers wise.
Well, I mean, to be fair, as much as we all enjoyed Fantastic Four, none of us had any desire to run back out and watch it all over again. Whereas John and I have both seen Superman multiple times.
Absolutely.
I think that's the case where it's enjoyable, but it didn't capture us like that. It was one of those like, oh, I saw it. I'm glad I saw it. Now I'm caught up with the storyline and you know, where we are in the MCU. But Superman, I went out and saw three more times, you know, and I think that's part of the problem. Also, again, kids are going back to school, so families aren't flocking to the theaters right now for any of these films. Again, Weapons is doing so good because horror has a huge crowd, has a huge fan following, and you know, teens, college age kids, those are the ones that are going to the theaters to see it. So you know,
no, it's completely fair.
There's a lot of factors going on.
It's the rewatchability factor, right? MTG is saying that. For me, how I judge a movie has a lot to do with this rewatchability factor, which is why I still think the first Guardians movie that James Gunn did is one of the best MCU movies to date.
I saw it in theaters 6 times.
It's completely, understood. Yep. Exactly. It's like I saw Barbie 4 times in a movie theater. I don't think I've seen any movie as many times in a movie theater as I think I've seen movies like 3 times maybe, but like that's the only movie I saw 4 times in a movie theater. But Barbie was an incredibly rewatchable movie.
Well, and again, like I saw Black Panther 8 times in the theater. I think I saw Black Panther Forever, I think maybe twice at the if I even saw it for a second time. I think I saw it twice. But that, it's the, like Jan said, it's the watchability. So
and look, here we go. Angelica is saying the same thing. She watched Superman 3 times in a movie theater, but then Fantastic Four only once. So and whereas the Watcher has seen Superman 7 times. I think MTG got you beat now.
Good for you.
Because MTG's seen it 8 times.
Yeah, I still haven't found anything to beat Endgame yet. I saw Endgame 10 times. So
wow, that is we'll 10 times. Well, there's a reason why it's like the second highest grossing movie of all time. So
you're welcome.
Yeah, and then it's just the subject matter too, because because some movies that are a little more on the on the heavier side in terms of the emotional involvement that it has, like the second Black Panther movie much more emotionally heavy than the first one. Not that the first one doesn't have really emotional moments, but it takes a lot more out of you, which is why it's really impressive that Oppenheimer, a damn near 4-hour long dramatic drama biopic, made almost as much money as Barbie did, being a much more rewatchable movie. But then again, that's a whole sidebar for Christopher Nolan. Sir Christopher
But again,
Nolan.
even that one, I only saw that one once as well. I saw Barbie twice.
Monique hasn't seen either in the movie theater. That's interesting. Whereas MTG has seen Superman now 10 times. So MTG is at the very top of the list. At very top of the list. He's match your endgame numbers. All right. Well, the last Marvel thing before we move into the quickest today has to do with Marvel Zombies. Of course, if you guys remember, they decided to take that one episode of What If and turn it into a whole TV show. I don't know how many people actually care for it now. It's been like 3 or 4 years. I think the MCU is in a very different place now. But hey, the Marvel Zombies has now got a new earlier premiere date, and it will be very rated R, as you can tell by that image. And apparently it was originally going to be a movie, which I didn't expect. But the date when it's supposed to premiere now, it is going to be September 24th. And it just seems like this is the latest of 5 shows this year that Marvel is just pushing out the door and hoping that people forget about it, because that's pretty much what they did to that Eyes of Wakanda show. That's what they did with Ironheart. And now this is like the 3rd one. I mean, I wonder if, speaking of wonder, I wonder if Wonder Man is going to do any better. But Liz, are you surprised that this is just, again, one of those things where Marvel is sort of just slipping this out at the dark of night and hoping people forget about it?
Yeah, it's weird to me. Like, I don't understand why they're doing, like, if you're not going to market it, if you're really not going to promote anything, then why release it at all? Like, if you're not behind it, if it doesn't move the storyline forward, if it doesn't help connect things one way or another, I don't understand it. These feel like kind of throwaway projects, and it's like, sure, you can do that with anything else, but you shouldn't be doing it with such a well-known and popular franchise. So it's kind of strange to me. Like, it's not even a cash grab, because especially if it's going to be going to streaming and not a theater, it's just really very bizarre to me. I watched What If, but for me, it was kind of like a background kind of thing. Like, oh, I'll just throw it on because I've got nothing else to watch right now. And I feel like this is going to be the same way. I also think, because they are saying it's going to be rated R, they are saying they're going to try really hard not to be like gratuitous with the curse words, but there is going to be some cursing. There is going to be some heavy subject matter. It almost feels like they're trying to go after Creature Commandos a little bit. That's where I'm coming from with it. That's what it seems like to me.
But I mean, I'm on the same page as Enterprising. I'd rather have another Werewolf by Night, which Michael Giacchino hinted at recently, although he didn't say anything about when it may or if it may actually happen. But yeah, I mean, Liz, I agree with you. It's just, whereas Creature Commandos also, I feel like, is much more diversified, and with somebody like a James Gunn writing the stories, I imagine the bar for quality is going to be a lot higher. It has been a lot higher. Marvel Zombies just feels like they decided to basically what they were going to do with Aquaman and make a Trench spin-off movie, which then ultimately got canceled.
It's such a reach. Felt like it's really weird.
It's like not many people saw What If to begin with, and then to take one episode, which was one of the more popular episodes of the show, and again, it was like season 1, not even season 3,
right?
Because it's kind of like the Mandalorian effect. People would have been much more excited about a Mandalorian Grogu movie if it was coming after season 1 or 2 of the Mandalorian, not after season 3. This is the same situation now. Like, What If as a show is sort of basically, outlived its, usefulness, as it were. And at this point, people don't really want to see Marvel Zombies. I mean, and also it's a subgenre of a subgenre, right? So I don't understand why Marvel, because this is part of the reason why Marvel is going towards the whole, we want to focus on quality over quantity, because they've diluted the reputation and just the value of anything MCU, because they started doing stuff like Marvel Zombies. Nobody cares. Like, a fraction of the people that went to see Avengers Endgame or a Spider-Man No Way Home will want to check out Marvel Zombies, and it's on Disney Plus. So I hope they never bring these characters into any of the movies, because nobody's gonna know that they even exist. I mean, they've hinted that this is all canon to the multiverse, Angelica, but I don't believe it. I mean, the Watcher is here in the chat. He's saying it's Elseworlds, but it's Elseworlds in the same sense that it's another timeline in the multiverse. They could tie it in, but there you go. So,
but they won't.
Yeah. Do you think DC needs like an HBO Max thing? Marvel has so many choices and specials, and Disney Plus is insane. Well, I think it's a problem that they have that. I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Punisher special every once in a while, but I don't want like 5 shows a year. And with the DCU, James Gunn has said that they're gonna do maybe 2 shows and maybe 2 live action and 1 show, and that's like their goal. That doesn't mean they will do it every year, but they will aim for that. So, which I think is much more reasonable anyway. Like that's maybe, and I think Kevin Feige will be probably going in that same direction because they don't have 5 shows on the schedule for next week or for next year. Whereas this year they 5 shows, 3 movies, and none of them seem to be doing bonkers money or getting a lot of good reviews. So even though Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts were well received, both movies made nowhere near the kind of money that the early days of the MCU or the heyday of the MCU used to do. But with that, guys, that is all the Marvel news that we got for now. We will now move into the next part of the show. But before we do, let us know in the comments down below, what was your favorite part of MCU Weekly? Did you enjoy, of course, seeing the Punisher van in the set photos from Spider-Man Brand New Day? Do you think Sadie Sink is actually playing, whether it's Jean Grey, whether it is, Mayday, whether it is Gwen Stacy? Who do you think Sadie Sink is playing in the movie? And of course, we talked about Chris Evans and Captain America. Is he going to be in Avengers Doomsday? And if so, then what role does he have to play in the plot of the movie? So you let us know what was your favorite part of the MCU Weekly segment. Right now, we're going to switch over, as I mentioned before, to the quick hits because we've got a bunch more news to talk about. We just don't want to spend a ton of time doing it. So, Liz, it's time for the quick hits. We're going to make these quick hits. Very first one we got the Duffer Brothers. We talked about horror as a genre all show today. And in the same breath, Duffer Brothers, of course, with Stranger Things, basically gave Netflix its very first mainstream franchise. And now it looks like Paramount, the new Paramount under Skydance's ownership, wants to poach them away for a massive deal. This is not done yet, but it's in the works. Do you think Matt and Ross Duffer might be better off at Paramount versus what they've been doing at Netflix?
No, I think Netflix is the better place for them. I think they would do... I hope they get a huge bag out of it, but I don't think it's a smart move for them to go over with Paramount, especially with all the problems Paramount's having currently. I would stick with people who know you and love you and will support you, and that's certainly not Paramount.
Yeah. I don't know if Paramount was one of the studios that turned them down when they were pitching Stranger Things years ago, so it'll be interesting to see. But again, I wouldn't blame them if they took the bigger paycheck and said, yeah, you know what, we'll do stuff for you guys. Hey. Yeah. Well, Manos time is leaving us for now. Well, we wish you the best, Manos. We hope you're back on the show tomorrow. And of course, make sure to come back and check out the rest of it afterwards when you free up. Speaking of checking out the rest of it, I do not want to check out the rest of anything related to the Conjuring, but this looks to be the final movie in the franchise, at least for now, The Conjuring Last Rites, which I was unpleasantly treated to a trailer for before I saw F1 a second time this past weekend. Yeah. It looks like it's heading for a $35 million plus US opening at the box office. This is, of course, early box office tracking, Liz. 35 million or 35 million plus. It's not anything to scoff at, though, because it's kind of in the same neighborhood as Weapons. Are you going to be one of those people who's going to go see this in a movie theater?
No, I did watch a lot of, I think I watched like the first half of this franchise. They're from, the Warrens are from Connecticut, hometown pride. I got to support them. But they just started getting freakier. Do it. I just can't do it. So no, unfortunately, I'll be skipping this one as well. I think I watched all of them like up to Annabelle, and then I was like, no, thank you. Hey, if you're a fan, I know a lot of people are big fans. Hey, good. Go ahead, check it out. But it's a no for me, unfortunately. It's just too much.
Yeah. Manos time saying bye, Dan. It's 6 a.m. in France, and I need to sleep and have an amazing time. I don't even know why you're watching it at 6 a.m. I thought it would be a little bit later. Like, hey, but you know what? Get some rest, and we'll talk to you next time. But hey, The Conjuring Last Rites. James Wan, of course, is no longer at New Line Cinema anyway. He's working with his Atomic what is it? Atomic something. I forgot what his studio is called. It's Atomic something, and he's got a deal with Blumhouse now. Blumhouse under Universal. So anyway, James Wan is not even a part of the franchise, so I'm glad they're ending it. So speaking of things that are not ending but starting, Jessica Alba, the original Invisible Woman from at least the theatrically released versions of the Fantastic Four movie, she is working on a new TV show. She just sold a pitch for a rated R female ensemble comedy to Netflix, and Madison Vanderberg is adapting the screenplay. Actually, I think this is a movie, Liz. what do you think about this idea? It stems from an original pitch inspired by business retreats that Alba has attended over the years as an entrepreneur. And of course, we talked about Madison Vanderberg, whose script Howl was featured in the 2024 Blacklist, which are basically a blacklist are some of the most like amazing and some of the best scripts that have not been produced, and that there's like a list that comes out every year. So she's a writer who had a movie on that list or a script on that list. So are you excited to see this adapted, and do you think Jessica Alba will star in it as herself in a bit of a meta move maybe?
I mean, if she can pull it off well, I don't know that she's who I think of when I think of comedy. But I was thinking the same thing, Monique. Like, okay, so this sounds like it's gonna be like Bridesmaids. It sounds like it's gonna be like Four Seasons. So I'm for it if it's good. I'm for it if it's funny. I'm for it if they've got the right people for the script. But I'm also very hesitant as well, because sometimes, it's not that women can't be funny, it's that sometimes people do not write them appropriately, and while they're funny, the scripts are usually pretty shitty and the jokes are kind of obvious and cheap. So I'm hoping that there's some quality content there, but I'll reserve my judgment until I see it, and I will be seeing it. So.
Yeah. I mean, Monique making a great point, like you said, Liz. Everybody wants Bridesmaids 2.0. Unfortunately, not many people succeed. But hey, Jessica Alba,
and quite frankly, even Bridesmaids for me wasn't the funniest thing I've ever seen. So
no, I'm not the target audience, so I wouldn't be able to tell you much. But I personally do hope that they do bring her and Ian Garfoyd, Michael Chiklis, and I would like to see Chris Evans back as.
There's no reason why they wouldn't, especially when we're talking multiverse, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, why not? But hey, speaking of the what do they call it? The Lohanaissance? Yes, the Lohanaissance. Shailene Woodley has now joined Lindsay Lohan in Count My Lies. What?
The Low
Up. Oh, sorry. That's yes, like absolutely. Glow Up. Sorry, I misheard you. Shailene Woodley has joined Lindsay Lohan in Count My Lies drama at Hulu, which of course has been formally picked up as a limited series based on a novel by Sophie Stava. Liz, would you be checking this out when it comes up on Hulu?
Yeah, I like both actresses a lot. Again, Lindsay, I'm so excited to see the stuff that she's doing, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. I haven't seen Shailene in a lot of stuff lately, but hey, I hope this one is good. So, speaking of things that might be good, Brie Larson, Lily Collins, Jack Quaid, and Henry Golding are set to star in Close Personal Friends. This is
Brie and Jack.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, didn't we? Like, I mean, Jack Quaid is a great dude. The plot for this movie is being kept under wraps, but it's being written by Isaac Aptekar, and it's based on a story he wrote with Jason Orley, who's the director behind the movie. Liz, we don't know much about this, but this combination of talent, do you think they will do great things together?
I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy all of them, so I think it'll be great. It's nice to see Brie do some other stuff too. It's been a while since she's done something outside of Marvel, so I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, and Henry Golding, I think, has gotten a short end of the stick when it comes to movies for a long time. I hope that he gets more good roles that people actually go and see. Who's the dad of Lily Collins? That's a good question, Stephen. I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head.
It's very well known. It's Phil Collins.
Phil Collins?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head, but thank you, Liz. So that's that's a gap in my knowledge. But
now it's filled.
Now it's filled. And now I'm feeling even more fulfilled because Sinead O'Connor is having a biopic potentially in the works. Now, of course, Sinead O'Connor is no longer with us. Or is this Sinead? I'm totally mispronouncing her name. Sinead, because Irish names, right? Sinead O'Connor's biopic is in the works from Slow Horses banner, Seesaw Films, and producers of Nothing Compares Doc. Liz, your thoughts? Sinead no longer with us. We always talk about how biopics are depending on if the person's alive, they'll have more of a say in it versus when they're gone. So how do you think they're going to treat her story? And
I think Sinead would hate this. Honestly, I think Sinead would absolutely hate this because I'm sure they're going to say some things that she'll disagree with. They're going to portray her in a way that she won't like. But I mean, just thinking off the top of my head before when I read this article, I was like, if Julia Garner, if that Madonna movie never gets made, she would be great in this role too. But I'm also thinking, we just saw Lily Collins there for a second, and I'm like, shave Lily Collins' head, she'd probably fit the role pretty well as well. So, to me now I'm all about like the fan casting. That's where I'm going with this. But I mean, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see if her family, how much they contribute to it, if at all. Because again, Sinead was a fairly private person, you know, and had a lot of her own personal battles going on, but she definitely had a say in the way that she was portrayed. So I find this to be very interesting.
Yeah, and Yush is in the chat. Hello, Yush, saying get the girl from Deadpool 2 to be Sinead O'Connor. I'm kind of. Are you talking about the? I'm trying to remember the name. Liz, do you remember the?
Oh, are you talking about the girlfriend? About his girlfriend?
No, not Monica Baccarin. I'm trying to remember. She was one of the X-Men in there. Brianna Hildebrand. I think that's what Yush is talking about. Brianna Hildebrand. If you look up Brianna Hildebrand, you'll see like, oh yeah, maybe that could work. But again, it's just on the visuals alone.
I think she's really short. She's super short.
She did play Negasonic Teenage Warhead in the movies. She was in both Deadpool movies.
Yes.
I don't know when we're getting this Stevie Wonder biopic.
Well, Sinead O'Connor was 5'4", so I guess she would work too. But yeah, I could see it. Yeah. But you're also like, are you just going off the fact that we've already seen her with a shaved head? So like, that's the only actress you can think of right now.
Yeah, no, I think it's completely based on the visuals
Tony,
alone.
Because she was bald.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Even though Brianna in real, I mean, you know, when on the usual day, she wears a full head of hair. She doesn't go around bald. So, and it was also like a choice for Sinead O'Connor too, of course. So. But hey, we'll see where this goes. This, of course, is still in development. It's not confirmed. On the other hand, though, The Traitors is getting a civilian version, and that is confirmed to be ordered at NBC with Alan Cumming as the host. This is like the 50,000th different iteration
Another
of it.
Marvel star. Love you, Alan.
So NBC is now getting in on the game of treachery, picking up a civilian version of Peacock's The Traitors. Basically, what this means is, so here's the thing. The Traitors is a franchise internationally in the UK. Yep. They have normal people on the show, but now that for the first time this year, they're going to have a celebrity version of The Traitors on. So there's other versions of this from different countries. There's an Indian version that just got renewed. Australia and New Zealand have versions. There's other ones I can't even remember. Peacock has been carrying the US version, which in the first few seasons, they've all been celebrities or reality show stars. But now it looks like Alan Cumming is going to be bringing the show back, which is filmed in the Scottish Highlands. But instead of bringing in celebrities, it looks like we're going to be seeing everyday people. So I'm sure somebody like any of us can potentially go and apply for this. I mean, as long as, you know, you have probably got a passport or something, you can go to Scotland. But the filming for this new season, the civilian version, will start in 2026. And instead of being on Peacock, this will be on NBC because they've realized how much of a ratings draw this is. So there you go. And of course, Alan Cumming is back in the new Avengers movies as Nightcrawler. So not Nightcrawler. What am I talking about? You know what I'm talking. I'm all over the place today. You guys.
No, you're right. He was Nightcrawler. No, you're absolutely right.
Oh, was it Nightcrawler? Okay. Because
Yeah,
I started thinking it was the. Never mind. I thought it was the Jake Gyllenhaal movie, which was also true. But Tony is saying Saoirse Ronan is who I would cast as fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
She would be great as Sinead O'Connor, actually.
I love Saoirse Ronan.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. Was Alan Cumming Loki? I don't think he was. Was he one of the?
No, he's Nightcrawler. What are you talking about?
Okay. I don't know. I got confused. Who was Loki? Who were we talking about?
Not
Yash
him.
is confusing me. Anyway, Yash usually does confuse me. But anyway, what I was confused by, Liz, was another James Bond casting rumor. This, on the other hand, might have some teeth to it. Apparently, this time we're looking at a redhead. Sources have claimed that little-known British actor Scott Rose Marsh has tested for 007. He would be the first ginger Bond, as one might say. A few weeks back, Rumbling weighed in on the search for the new James Bond, throwing cold water on the rumor that Aaron Taylor-Johnson had screen tested for the part. However, this week, Liz, they're adding a little bit color to this, The Hollywood Reporter, because according to a well-placed source close to the production, Scott Rose Marsh, a 37-year-old redheaded actor whose biggest credits are Praise, Code of Silence, and Wolves of War, I have no idea what those are, was brought in sometime in late June to read sides from 1995's GoldenEye, which was, of course, Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie. Presumably for just hired director Denis Villeneuve, he might also have tackled pages from the script. Peaky Blinders creator Steve Knight is set to be whipping up for Bond 26. This, of course, is speculation. But Liz, based on this, the fact that it looks like he read some sides from GoldenEye, do you think that Denis Villeneuve was potentially looking at Scott Rose Marsh as a Bond? And if so, do you think he's a good fit or would be a good fit?
I mean, I've said from the beginning it would actually be nice if we had an unknown in this role. So I would be fine with it, especially because that usually means they'll be in the role a lot longer. So we would get a little more longevity out of this guy rather than somebody who's already in high demand and is signed on for a bunch of projects and wants to do a bunch of projects. I think it would be really nice. I have seen this gentleman before, but I don't know that I've actually like clocked him as a good actor one way or the other. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. I think a lot of people will be pissed off because everybody seems to want to go with the popular vote. Excuse me. Where I a lot of people were arguing for Idris Elba. A lot of people were arguing for Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I think no matter what, somebody's going to be butthurt about it. But hey, if he gets it, good for him. I hope he does a good job.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, we got the first blonde Bond, the blue-eyed Bond, and Daniel Craig, and people were all up in arms about that. So you never know. I mean, the only thing about this that it's potentially disqualifying is the last time we heard reports, it looked like they were looking for somebody in their 20s, maybe, and he's already 37. So I don't know. I mean, that's it's weird. He does kind of look a little bit like a young Kenneth Branagh. Yeah. Yash. And speaking of, actually, Yash and I finally have something in common. We both love Batman and Robin. It's like a guilty pleasure thing. So I totally agree with you on that.
I did see it.
But yeah, he would be.
I did buy the soundtrack immediately. That's a good soundtrack.
I have it on VHS, and I will never not love Batman and Robin. But speaking of superheroes, The Boys prequel series, starring, of course, one of our fan castings for the DC Batman that we did last week, Watt Rising, and they've now got the super suits and in photos that we can take a look at. Of course, you see four of them right there. Jensen Ackles is Soldier Boy, Mason Dye is Bomb Sight, and we've got some more. So let's take a quick look and peek through these, Liz. The very first one, there you go. You got Soldier Boy, Watt Rising, a young Soldier Boy, I suppose, without the beard, the fake abs, of course. Then here we go. You got Mason Dye.
Fake abs? How dare you? How dare you?
I mean, Bomb Sight. Yeah.
All right, moving on. I thought he was like a younger Homelander. Like he looked like he could be Homelander too.
This is Will Hochman as what is it? Torpedo? Did they say? Yeah, Torpedo. So he's a sailor, a Navy sailor. That's interesting. Let's keep on going. This is Elizabeth Posey as Private Angel. All right. Okay. Not as scantily clad as a lot of the other female superheroes in The Boys.
I'm sure she will be at some point.
Eventually, probably.
And they're all just going to keep calling her Angel, which will be really annoying.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, those are the four main team members, Liz. Are you particularly impressed with any of them outside of course, Soldier Boy? Because I know you love Jensen Ackles.
I love Jensen Ackles. I don't give a shit. I'm going to watch the show just for him. And I'm sure I'll love it. I love The Boys. I don't care. It's fine by me.
Yeah. And season 5, of course, is finishing up right now. So yeah. Henry Cavill is right there. Yeah, I know. Henry Cavill is always right there. So yeah, they should cast him as Bond. Anyway, they're too dumb. Christopher Nolan director, Henry Cavill Bond, Cillian Murphy villain, print the damn money. I know. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see that, Tony. That's a perfect fan casting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Soldier Boy looks like it's packing at least 10 inches. Okay.
You know it.
All right.
You know it, kid.
All right. Well, Liz believes it. And speaking of believing it,
Liz, we believe in the bulge on this show. Everybody knows that.
We do. We absolutely do. I don't know about Jensen Ackles, but I am on the same page.
I believe.
Rajnikant, of course. I know you're a big fan of Indian cinema. His movie Coolie has been showcasing an AI lip sync, which apparently is becoming more and more common because now with AI as a tool, at least, not used in a very broad sense, Indian movies are really famous for basically dubbing all the songs in the different languages, because they'll make the song in different languages, all the main languages, the big ones in India, whether it's Telugu, Kannada, like obviously you got Hindi and Punjabi and stuff like that. So they've been doing it now with AI lip sync. They're able to have Rajnikant basically say the words in the different languages rather than filming every different version of the song. And because the actors, they usually will mouth the words, they're not the ones actually singing. You've got playback singers. I'm sure you're aware of that, Liz. So do you think this is the kind of use of AI? Because we saw this with that Bradley Cooper movie that everybody were up in arms about. I think it was either earlier this year or it was last year. It was one of the Oscar nominated ones. Or was it Bradley? Yeah, I think no, it wasn't Bradley Cooper. It was The Brutalist. The Brutalist.
Yeah.
That movie, right?
Yeah.
That had the whole controversy. This is kind of similar, except in a different context for songs. Do you think this is maybe going to be happening more and more often? Because it's a very easy thing to do, and it's believable enough. So I suppose,
I mean, why not? It's, they are playing to global audiences now. They are becoming more mainstream. They're on Netflix. You can find pretty much any Bollywood film on Netflix at this point. So I think why not? It's a good way to kind of connect with audiences if you're going using their own language, and a lot of people are turned off by reading subtitles. I don't have a problem with it, but I can understand the difficulty, especially sometimes the dialogue is really, really quick, so you feel like you miss something, things get lost in translation, what have you. So yeah, I think it's a smart move. I mean, they dub things all the time in other languages, so why not do it like in real time when things are being released, rather than having to to wait for it. So yeah, it's okay with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, by the way, this is not even Bollywood. This is like South Indian cinema, but they will be dubbing it in obviously Hindi as well, because that's one of the big languages that most movies in India will be seen in. So speaking of movie, I know you mentioned this earlier, Liz. Eminem Stans has set a streaming date for Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus would feel so empty without him. I love the puns in these articles. So it had a limited theatrical run, August 7th to August 10th in AMC theaters. I know you didn't get a chance to see it because you say it wasn't playing in a theater.
Wasn't in my theater, unfortunately. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it meant that you had to be in like LA or New York, one of the other big markets in the US. But hey,
no,
it's gonna.
I forget where somebody saw it in one of the bigger theaters here in Connecticut. A friend of mine went and did see it. But,
okay.
I think it was just a very, very limited release, like probably like one theater per state or something. Because they only released it for the 3 days, as it says there, August 7th to 10th. So. I'm looking forward to it streaming. I'm definitely going to see it. It's on my list. That list is growing and growing. And yes, Stephen, I am.
Tuesday,
I saw Eminem in concert when I was in high school. So, yep, big fan.
Yep, I'm a big fan of Eminem too. August 26th is going to be on Paramount and Plus in the UK, Canada, Latin America, and Brazil. And the UK, Australia, Italy, France, Germany, Switzerland, Australia will have to wait one more day, so August 27th. But then in Japan, you have to wait all the way till August 3rd. So there you go. Or like, as John would say, you can ride the high seas. But hey, Eminem, he's a very private man, even though he's got a very public persona in Eminem. But Marshall Mathers himself responded to Uber Facts, putting out the challenge that, hey, there's no word in English that rhymes with silver. And then somebody commented saying, Eminem will find a word. And well, Eminem did find a few words that rhymed with silver. Silver, pill for killer, or kill for Gilbert, still hurts, steel shirts, Bill Burr, MILF word, off kilter, no filter, Gilbert. I can't do it. So Liz, but you see it there. I don't know if any of those words stick out to you, but apparently we can find a word to rhyme with silver, or at least
my boy Bill Burr in there. That was pretty great. Val Kilmer, right? Even
Val
Spielberg,
Kilmer.
why not? I love it.
Lil Twerp, Wilshire, Shield Perk, Hillbirds, Milk Curd, Fieldworth. I want to take this, and I'm sure somebody's already done it, and put it into one of those AI like generators, like where they can emulate Eminem's vocal like cadence, and then basically listen.
Don't let AI do that stuff, Dan. Come on now, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem, Dan.
No, but this is one of those things where it's kind of fun. Like I don't mind it. I mean, maybe Eminem should do this. Like just turn it into a random, video that he posts on his social media. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Well, Rock the Bell said you've got 24 hours, so who knows? He might release it.
He might. Well, Megadeth have announced their final album and farewell tour, saying, "Don't be mad, don't be sad, come celebrate with me." The frontman Dave Mustaine said. Liz, I don't know if you're a fan of Megadeth, but it looks like they are about to call it a career.
And good for them. And I think I'm glad to see that a lot of bands are doing that. They're calling it quits. They're not trying to act like, oh, maybe one day we'll get back out there and like you're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to like retire and want to enjoy, the latter years of your life without, going through the grind of a tour or anything like that. So I think it's really nice that they're doing that. They're giving fans, like he said, come celebrate with me. They're giving fans the opportunity to say goodbye. And I think that's pretty cool. So hopefully people get out there and get to see that.
No, absolutely. It is always sad when you get, one of those farewell tours. John Cena's doing one right now in WWE. And, I look at stuff on social media every day and I'm like, wow, there's gonna be a day not too long from now where he's no longer wrestling. But hey, he'll be doing a bunch of other stuff. So stick around. We've got some Peacemaker news coming up in a little bit. But hey, Jeremy Renner's Mayor of Kingstown has gotten a season 4 premiere date for Paramount Plus, and we got a first look. You can see one of these photos right here for season 4. You got Eddie Falco on the right and Jeremy Renner on the left. It looks like Paramount Plus will be debuting season 4 October 26th. Liz, are you excited about this? Because
I'm happy for Jeremy Renner. I'm glad that he's still got stuff going on. I have yet to see a single episode of this show, but I hear people like it. And again, season 4, that's pretty good. They're rolling along. So yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm still a little bit behind, so I'll have a few more episodes to catch up on before I get there. But Jeremy Renner, good on you. The Gilded Age has closed out season 3 with another series high viewership for its finale. Of course, we know it's been renewed for another season, so season 4 probably not that far behind. But as they talk about here, the season finale tallied 5 million US cross-platform viewers in just its first 3 days of availability, which is a new series high for the period drama, giving Downton Abbey treatment to the New York of the Gilded Age. Now, of course, this is a new high from the 4.6 million over a comparable time frame for episode 7. So the finale of the season got 5 million views. Liz, this seems to be becoming like the next Downton Abbey, especially as Downton Abbey sort of like wraps up.
It's the next Bridgerton. Yeah, it's the next Bridgerton, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and HBO Max got at the right time. Eric Walter is here saying it's the quilted age. Sucked by Gilded Age.
Good Lord. Yeah.
That's great. But hey, Carrie Coon deserves a success. There you go. At least Eric can admit to that. Yeah. Hey, and Tony loves it. The show is great. I know people who watch the show. I personally don't. I actually know people who work on the show. So they do film a lot of it in New York. They have sets. Netflix has actually a big studio in Brooklyn. So you guys, I don't know, well, you can't just walk in there, but they do film stuff there. And they're opening up a huge thing in New Jersey as well. Anyway, Denzel Washington, he will get the final word on Quick Hits today. He recently said, I'm not interested in Oscars and don't care about them. They won't do me a bit of good when I die. And with that logic, I mean, there's not a whole lot.
That's easy to say when you have one. Let's start there. It's really easy to say. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but I'm like really sick and tired of Denzel Washington. I don't know, because now he's what's the word I'm looking for? Proselytizes, but he's coming out like he's like this seasoned grandfather figure. Let me bestow my wisdom upon Hollywood. Every time he says something, it's like, bro, yeah, you're a good actor. You've got Oscars. You got a ton of awards, but quite frankly, you have played the exact same character in the past 10 things that you've been in, regardless of what genre, what freaking time period, from wearing a toga to wearing a leather jacket, you've been playing the exact same character. I don't know. I'm not feeling Denzel these days lately. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the hour. Maybe I'm just a little tired. But I read this and I was like, we don't care either, Denzel. Great. Cool, man. I'm glad that you're so successful that you can look beyond that. Some people are still reaching for the brass ring, babe.
Yeah. King Dingaling, probably the best name in the chat as always, saying Denzel has gone lazy in his roles. He just plays Denzel. I agree with you. He kind of played himself in the last Gladiator movie.
Ever since Fences, his acting, his characters have not changed. Every character is Joe in Fences. That's everything. He was Gladiator 2. He was Joe in Fences in Gladiator 2. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yep. Well, hey, Denzel, he's already got 2 Oscars on his mantle, so yeah, it makes sense.
I'm saying, again, it's so easy to say when you already got the freaking Oscars, bro.
There's something to be said for always being hungry, though, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
I don't have Oscars. I have a couple of Emmys, but I'm still chasing the Oscar. So
I don't care that you have Emmys. I care that you have that Bernie popcorn bucket. I'm so bummed. The Herbie popcorn bucket. That's what I'm upset about. Good for you.
Well, maybe I'll find you one before. I'm sure not everybody has bought all of them. They were like $80 a pop. So guys, let us know in the comments what you think about all the news, the quick hits. Which part of it did you enjoy the most? And of course, were there any surprises in there that you weren't expecting? So with that, we're going to move on to the next part of the show, as we always do. And as I always like to say, it's time It's DC.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
All right, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. If you've been watching the full live show, of course, we've already talked a lot about DC, with the DCU. There's pressure is on, and Richard Brosnahan, James Gunn, they're all feeling it. The bar is high, but we still have to talk about a lot of Peacemaker. We also have to talk about the real reason why Superman is getting an early release. James Gunn himself gave us the reason why. So, we still got some comments in the chat about the previous parts of the show, but it's DC time, it's DCU time. And that's where we're at. So Liz, of all the different things that we've got on the rundown for DC today, which of those are you most excited to discuss today?
Creature Commandos, happy anniversary!
Hell yeah. Okay, so let's get into that, because I believe that is the very first topic you've got. So James Gunn posted about this. It's now past midnight on the East Coast. So it was yesterday, but still, I guess we can count it as part of today, because we started the show on Thursday. So it is the Creature Commandos anniversary. James Gunn posted saying, "Monsters of the patron saints of imperfection. Happy anniversary to my very favorite saints, the Creature Commandos." Season 2, of course, is in development. We don't yet know how much of it James Gunn will write, but he pretty much shepherded the first season along, from right from the concept and all the way to being in basically he was sitting in some of the voice booths as well. And then while he didn't direct the episodes, he was there promoting the show last year or this year. I don't know, it was last year actually at New York Comic Con. Now, Creature Commandos is actually, if you listen to some of the interviews James Gunn has done for Superman, he talked about, and I found this to be really cool, because we have all heard the story that Superman was the movie he was first offered when he came into DC all the way back, when he was fired from Marvel. But he, at the time, before he ever did a Superman script, he mentioned that he was working on and even before he, this was after he did the Suicide Squad, he had an idea for Creature Commandos, and that kind of tied into what he did for Superman. And then he was like, well, I got to do Creature Commandos as well. And of course, all of that led to Creature Commandos becoming the very first DCU anything, despite the fact it was an animated TV show. Not as many people saw it. It is still the very beginning of the DCU, Liz. I don't know if you've had a chance to check out Creature Commandos yet, but season 1 is out. It's actually parts of season 1 are on YouTube as well, if you want to watch it just for free. And then the rest of it, the whole season is on HBO Max. There's some characters in there, such as, of course, Frank Grillo playing Rick Flag Sr., who are going to be in the upcoming Peacemaker season 2. So what do you make of this wacky, animated show that a lot of people just call Suicide Squad Light? But if you watch the show, most people didn't.
It's
think
heavy as hell. I don't know where they're coming from with
Yeah.
that. It's in my opinion, is way better than Suicide Squad too. So the writing is certainly better. The characters are more developed and interesting, and I love the show. I'm looking forward to season 2. I can't wait for it. They really done hooked me. Listen, as you guys know, before I kind of just gave DC the brush off, but Creature Commandos sucked me right in. Then that led me into Peacemaker, which has led me into Superman. And you know what? I'm in, gang. I'm in. Love it.
Yeah. A lot of you guys loved it. I know Figure Drawing wasn't the biggest fan of it. But yeah, I mean, look, your mileage may vary. Figure Drawing saying, yeah, he's glad that it was your cup of tea. But yeah, and it's not going to hit with everybody. They're all available for free. Every episode of season 1 is on YouTube, as the Watcher is confirming. JC is saying, I don't think Gunn is going to be the head of DC Studios by 2027. I'm not sure about that, although his his current contract does come up for renewal around that time. So if, either he decides to leave or doesn't get the contract renewed, in which case it's possible. But JC, as of right now, there's no reason why Gunn would be fired. He's doing great right now in terms of just delivering the results, whether it's financial or critically. So until something changes on that front, I wouldn't worry about it. So yeah, yep. But hey, all right, moving on to the next thing. We got a couple of more pieces of news before we get into the big Superman stuff. So the very first one here, there was a new interview in the Hollywood Reporter, and this comes to us from the red carpet of Peacemaker's season 2 premiere in New York City. James Gunn revealed in that interview, of course, on the red carpets, there are always media asking questions. So I'm sure somebody from the Hollywood Reporter pulled James Gunn over and asked him a question. And James Gunn revealed that he finished the treatment for the next story in the Superman saga. Of course, this is the next movie James Gunn has been reportedly writing. He calls it the Super Family movie. He calls it's not a direct Superman sequel, but it's technically not Superman 2, but it has Superman in it. You want to call it the next movie in the Superman saga, whatever the case might be. But it looks like James Gunn has now confirmed that he has finished the treatment, and he's hoping to get into production not too far away from today. So, Liz, with that, my question for you would be, how soon do you think he's going to go from treatment to a full script that's greenlit by himself and get it into pre-production? Because the treatment's done, but obviously that doesn't mean the work is done on pre-production, because you got to first write the actual script. Then obviously I'm sure Peter Safran has to look it over and be like, yeah, we're good, and then they greenlight it. So how soon do you think this movie is going to come our way? Because James Gunn seems to be saying it's not that far away.
I mean, I would imagine it's right around the corner. He has been pretty good about just continuing the story on. Again, we've got Supergirl coming out pretty soon, but I'm almost wondering if he will change some things around, like based on people's reactions to Supergirl, based on comments from fans about other things that they'd like to see, continuances of certain storylines. So the fact that he says they're pretty much done, while that tells me he obviously has a vision and the direction that he wants to go, I'm wondering how influenced he might be later on based on fan reactions to his other projects that he's putting out. So I really don't know.
Yeah. I mean, 2027 at the earliest is what Enterprising said. I feel like that's probably a good timeline, because 2027 is the first year where I think we don't really, that's when the Batman comes out, the Batman Part 2. So other than that, we don't have any DC movie on the schedule that year. So it would make sense if this becomes like the summer movie release, because we know Batman comes out in October. So that would be nice to see. We'll have to see what it turns into. By the way, the whole saga terminology, I don't know if it's official or not, and whether it's being referred to as a trilogy, whether they're, like Angelica suggesting, treating a trilogy as a saga. I don't know if that's the case, or if this is just the way it was worded to him, or maybe that's how James Gunn just responded. It's interchangeable at this point. I don't think they're defining it as like phase 1, phase 2, Superman saga, Batman saga. I don't think that's the case here. By the way, JC was saying earlier, it's kind of weird that the Authority got shelved out of nowhere. It wasn't so much out of nowhere, because it was earlier this year, in I think February, they did a press event, Peter Safran and James Gunn, where they invited a bunch of media into their offices at DC Studios on the Warner Brothers lot, and they gave them a bunch of answers. They did mention, and they didn't say a whole lot. They just said, look, one of the reasons why the Authority is sort of on the back burner right now is because a lot of the ideas in the Authority ended up being incorporated into the new Superman movie. So they were just looking at it and thinking, we need to rethink this. And it's not a big priority, not like Wonder Woman, for example, not like Batman. So I completely get it. But given that it was the most James Gunn-esque movie in the original DCU slate, I bet you it's not going to completely go away. So, yeah. And, chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters. So there we go. I know you guys are having a very spirited conversation in the chat. Clayface, by the way, JC, is not scheduled for 2027. That's coming out 2026, so next year. Wonder Woman could be in 2028. I mean, the script is being worked on right now.
It better be good, because I'm over Wonder Woman at this point.
Yeah.
Over.
I feel like, given that they've said it's a priority, I wouldn't mind seeing a 2028 movie schedule where DC does Batman in the summer, like the peak of summer, like July, August, and maybe Wonder Woman comes out in early summer, like May, or maybe Wonder Woman comes out in October. I think 2028 is probably the year we get Brave and the Bold, and we get the first Wonder Woman movie. So I think the DCU Wonder Woman movie. That's my guess. I mean, 2029 might be pushing it. 2028 is probably where it's going to land, given that there are big priorities right now. But yeah. All right. It took us 79 years to get Gadot. I actually do like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman quite a bit. I think
It's
she
not
did
her.
great.
It was
Yeah.
the script. It was the poor storyline. It was, her
Yeah.
defeating the villain with a speech in number 2. So,
Yeah. Well, as far as this next James Gunn movie that he's writing and gonna direct, well, we'll have to just wait and see when we get any actual update on it, like in terms of just anything substantive more than just James Gunn. Like, yeah, I finished the treatment. I'm kind of working on it. We'll see. Get there. It has Superman in it. It's not a Superman 2. Blah 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 blah. I'm kind of like just waiting for him to just be like, it is Justice League. It is, the Trinity. It is the world's finest. Like, just tell us already. It's just stop teasing us. But anyway, let the man do his job. Speaking of letting the man do his job, Liz, we got to talk about Peacemaker, because today they have dropped a red band trailer for Peacemaker.
They sure did.
Which definitely has a lot of gratuitous violence, a lot more blood.
They red band dropped it, yeah.
There's an orgy, which I saw the funniest part of the trailer for me was the conversation between Freddie Stroma's Vigilante and John Cena's Chris Smith. I was like, it's just John Cena, even when he's doing deadpan humor, just works. Like, the man's got comedic timing. And of course, we also got a name drop of Lex Luthor list. So what did you think about this trailer? I mean, it, like you said, was very much a red band trailer. So
I think it's interesting. The teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it, that we got prior to this, I feel like gave us more information about what's coming up in season 2, whereas this one was Pocket Universe and Lex Luthor. Like, I appreciate that they're trying to tie it in with off the coattails of Superman, but it was really more just like, kind of funny bits. It wasn't a whole lot of actual information about the upcoming season, but I enjoyed it. Still, it's, again, met John Cena over the weekend. Really looking forward to Peacemaker season 2. I told him that. I said I'm so happy for him, and I really am. I hope this show just keeps plugging away. But yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm surprised you actually saw him.
There it is.
I know you got the autograph of it. I was like, was that just a floating pen in the air signing a piece of paper? Like,
I think he was wearing, like Superman has those hypno glasses. He was wearing a hat, so maybe that's like that hat reveals him to people. I don't,
maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, this trailer's not that much longer than the other one that we got, and I don't think it's meant to be all that different because, well, they did swear a lot. I'm gonna turn those off because I don't want YouTube to demonetize us. Yeah. But yeah, they used the F word like 1,000 times. There you go. I'm gonna skip past that real fast. But yeah, because again, we content guidelines and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You do get more of the characters we have seen before. Of course, the quantum unfolding chamber still is, and it looks like more and more so at the center of the story here. And we do get a look at some of these other more funky characters. I am looking forward to this show. The first season, not everything hit well with me, but I enjoyed, especially the intro. I enjoyed John Cena's, of course, comedic timing, like I mentioned. And in this one, we are now seeing not only one version of Peacemaker, but an alternate reality version as well. They also yesterday released a clip from the show that was basically, when he comes into contact and encounters the alternate version of Chris Smith, the world that is a lot better than the one that Peacemaker currently lives in. And then, of course, James Gunn posted about it. The fight is even dirtier than the last one. And then Frank Grillo, who is playing Rick Flag Sr., basically the big antagonist of the new season, he was like, I don't need to add a thing here because they already, gave us enough F-bombs, so we might as well just roll with it. So I thought this was great marketing, and it's really on brand. They've also been putting up new reels on Instagram and stuff, kind of in the same vein as Superman, just like trying to get this thing out with viral marketing on social media. So I'm excited to see that, where this show goes. It is gonna be here before you know it, and I am really, really excited. August 21st, like MTG is saying, is literally next week. It's not even a full week away at this point. So before you know it, we're gonna be reviewing, Alien Earth. We're reviewing tomorrow, and then we're also gonna be next week reviewing an episode of Alien Earth, and then an episode of Peacemaker each and every week for quite some time to come. So I am just excited that it's going to be a good time for TV shows after a few weeks of not a whole hell of a lot dropping. Now the bigger TV shows are coming in once more. I love Gunn's marketing, bruh. Yeah, Watcher, we love it too. And hey, Fiona, hello. This is a bit late.
Girl, go to bed. What?
Yeah, it looks like she probably fell asleep and then woke up, but there you go. Welcome on into the show. You joined us just in time for DCU Daily. And in speaking of DCU Daily, the next thing we're going to talk about, because we just talked about Peacemaker, so you let us know, are you excited about it? We will be doing episodic reviews for Peacemaker, so do stick with us because we will be doing all sorts of content and news coverage around the show. Season 2 starts up August 21st. Let us know in the comments what you think about it so far. So with that, we got to now get into the big Superman story. Superman, of course, we know is releasing a bit early on digital. Originally, the date was August 26th. Then it was moved to August 15th. Then it was moved to August 26th. And then officially it became August 15th. James Gunn confirmed it. And now he's given us a reason why. But before I get into the reason, of course, Liz, just to kind of get your comments on this, because I know John and I have been kind of harping on this for days now. August 15th, Superman isn't coming out of theaters. It's still going to be playing in movie theaters pretty much mostly everywhere that you were able to see it weeks ago. It's still going to be there. And so James Gunn is saying you can go see it in a movie theater if you really much want to, but now you can watch it at home too. And there's a lot of people out there who just don't have the time or the opportunity, or maybe, they can't afford to get out to the movie theater because they have, I don't know, like a family of 5. You either get a babysitter or you want to bring everybody with you, and it might cost you $100 plus and everything that you have to pay for snacks. Whereas at home, $20-$30, you can get the movie, watch it for a couple of hours, and you don't have to worry about any of those other things I just mentioned. So do you like the idea that August 15th is when they are putting this out, which is basically now, versus waiting another couple of weeks to put it on digital?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I understand the logic behind it. I feel like at this point, as we've said, they've made so much money. Everybody who really wants to see it and needs to see it has gone to see it at this point. So I don't have a problem with it. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Well, James Gunn, like I mentioned earlier, he has given us, it is on the sites. Yes, it is. It's on digital now because it's past midnight on the East Coast. So you can actually go watch Superman right now, but don't go just yet. We're talking about it. So once the show is done, then you can go watch it. But hey, Enterprising saying hopefully still crack 600 million. I don't think it will have an issue doing that. It's already like at close to 590. So I'd imagine by the end of the weekend, it will be past 600 million. But yeah, it still feels like it's going to digital a bit early. However, James Gunn finally gave us the reason, or several set of reasons why. And according to this article in Screen Rant, it's a good reason for why Superman has come to digital so soon. I'm going to read the quote directly from James Gunn himself, because this is from a Screen Rant interview where Liam Crowley, one of the journalists at Screen Rant, interviewed James Gunn regarding Peacemaker Season 2. The conversation veered off into talking about Superman, because of course it did. And I'm glad that, they were able to ask this question, basically mentioning a lot of what we have been talking about, that Superman was such a massive success, over $500 million worldwide. It really set the stage for the DCU moving forward. So Liam was a little heartbroken to see that it's already going to be on digital so soon after, because as we all do, we love a good long theatrical campaign. James Gunn agreed with him, saying, yes, me too. But then the follow-up question was, I think, kind of interesting, because this is where the reasoning comes in. What was the mindset in going to streaming that soon after? And James Gunn responded saying, well, it's very complicated, but the truth is, because of Peacemaker. I originally thought Peacemaker was going to be coming out next month, as in September. There were a lot of things that are beyond our control. So that Peacemaker is coming out now in August. And at the end of the day, I want everyone to be able to see Superman that wanted to see it, even those people who couldn't get to a theater before Peacemaker. And that's really the reason for it. So Liz, basically what James Gunn is saying here, and I'll pull up another article here, is he wanted everyone to see Superman, regardless of whether they saw it in the theater or not, or if they weren't able to go out to a theater. Like Monique hasn't seen Superman in theaters yet. So Monique can now watch potentially Superman at home. And then James Gunn has been touting the fact that Peacemaker Season 2 is pretty much as close to a direct sequel to Superman as anything we're going to get this year. So if he doesn't want people to miss what happens in Superman.
And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. That's realistic. Again, he's learned the lesson from Marvel, right? He saw what Marvel was doing. He saw that it was turning off fans because they couldn't catch up, because things were available on different platforms. And it was like, so you mean I have to see this in the theater before I see this on streaming, and then I have to catch this little. So I appreciate that he cares more about the accessibility of it, and people being able to kind of stick with the storyline and make those connections without necessarily sitting back and being like, no, let's make all the money we possibly can, let's make it available to rent first, and did it like I appreciate that he's doing that, because he understands what's most important, and that's the fans, and that's the content, and it's not about the giant check that he's already received. Like I think he's one of the rare millionaires that's like, I already got one giant check, like I don't necessarily need another one, and I also am pretty sure there's another one coming down the line at some point anyway, so we're good. Like he really does care about his projects, and it's evident in every decision he's made thus far.
Yeah. Eric Walter is in the chat, like going through it right now. Eric, we hope that you are doing well, but our best thoughts are with you. We're here to help you feel a little bit better, at least a couple of hours a day.
Yeah.
But I wanted
to do every day. Give yourself something to look forward to.
I don't know if Eric is trolling us. I also
I hope you are. Quite frankly, I hope you are trolling.
I hope that he's okay.
Yeah,
Eric. We are a community. We sometimes even refer to ourselves as a family. So we love that you are here and watching. And if you guys are watching, then make sure to hit the like button, because of course, what are we if you're not one big giant
brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
It's been so long. I feel like it's been so long.
But JC making a point that I think is very interesting, and I'm going to go into maybe something that might feel a little bit more negative in a second, because I want to break down what James Gunn said, because I'm going to overanalyze it.
I wouldn't say that it's targeted towards little kids, but it is a fair point to make.
Yeah. But JC saying, I don't understand how a movie targeted towards children is supposed to be followed up by a rated M. Actually, is it rated M? Yeah, rated M for mature. MA, I think, is the rating on television. How does that it's supposed to bridge the story beats? That's a very good question. And I mean, hey, literally, James Gunn has said on multiple occasions that he would like to see, every project be sort of standalone in the DC to a certain degree, where people don't have to feel compelled to watch Superman to watch Peacemaker. So it is a little hypocritical of him to say that, oh yes, that's the reason why. And I want to dive into that a little bit more. Because here's the thing. He said a few things in this statement. And again, I'm forewarning you guys, this might sound a little bit negative, but hear me out, right? I highlighted some parts of this, and I want to run these by you, Liz. He said, look, it's very complicated. That's the first red flag for me. It's very complicated. I should have actually highlighted that too, because I'm wondering what he means by very complicated. Like, because what is he hinting at? But then he continues on saying, I originally thought Peacemaker was going to come out next month. Okay, so you originally thought, but aren't you the studio head? I mean, okay, I kind of understand, because it's an HBO Max show, and HBO Max technically commissioned the show, so maybe they get to decide the release date. Okay, I hear you. He has much more control over the movies, because that's directly released by DC Studios, whereas the shows, you have somebody else, like the folks over at HBO, deciding that. Cool, but very complicated. Just hold on to that. Then he says there's a lot of things that are beyond our control, so now that Peacemaker is coming out a month sooner, he just wanted everybody to be able to see Superman first. Okay, direct sequel. Even these people who couldn't get to a theater before Peacemaker. Sure. I'm just wondering, for argument's sake, if he's hinting at the idea that maybe the folks over at Warner Brothers Pictures, or not Pictures, but Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, aka who's his only boss, maybe the folks at HBO, because remember, Liz, a long time ago, I think it was late last year or earlier this year, we had reports hinting at the idea. This was from one of the trades, talking about how, well, the behind the scenes, the HBO team, like Casey Bloy, especially the head of HBO, may have more of a say in stuff like Lanterns and Peacemaker than we realize. That even though these are DC projects and DC Studios are the ones producing them, and they are their own studio, like a Marvel Studios, it's not exactly like Marvel Television over at Marvel Studios, which like Marvel Television is a subsidiary of Marvel Studios. And even though they will put stuff on Disney Plus, it seems like mostly Kevin Feige and Brad Winderbaum are kind of in charge of doing that. So whereas here, this is not the first time, but it's certainly the first time where it's overtly being hinted at by James Gunn himself that maybe he doesn't quite have control over the release schedules for everything that DC produces. And my question to you is that a problem, A? And then B, do you think that I'm onto something here, or am I just kind of speculating where there is no speculation to be had?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think, yeah, maybe he was getting pushback on distribution. I think they were like, hey, Peacemaker's ready to go. Everything looks good. Why don't you just go ahead and put it out? So that kind of moves some things around. But I also think, gang, I don't think he's putting out Superman in the hopes of attracting more audiences to Peacemaker. I think he's putting out Superman to help those folks anticipating and waiting for season 2 of Peacemaker to catch up should they need to. Again, he has said time and time again, he's not going to connect the dots on everything because everything that he puts out is not going to be for everyone. So getting into the weeds with all of that shit is completely irrelevant and unnecessary and quite frankly a waste of everybody's time. I'm not interested in conversations like that because again, he has made it very clear himself. He recognizes that not everything that they release is going to be for all audiences, but they still want to make things somewhat cohesive, somewhat within the same universe. He's also said certain projects will be canon where others will not be. So he's very strategic in his decision making. And again, I don't think he's doing this for Superman fans. I think he's doing it for Peacemaker fans. So with that in mind, again, anyone who has any interest in seeing Superman and hasn't been able to yet, this is a great opportunity. Awesome. He's putting it out earlier than planned. Folks that already have seen it, though, have already seen it. So either way, everybody should be happy and just calm the fuck down.
I think MTG is making a pretty good point because if we go down this road of like HBO Max or HBO in general are the ones kind of in charge of the release strategy. Yeah, Welcome to Derry comes out in what is it, October? I forget. Like you guys let me know because I'm trying to remember. I know we got a date not too long ago, but it's got to be this fall, right? Actually, we don't actually have a date. They just say 2025. Am I wrong about that? October 2025. So they haven't given us an exact date, but given that there's like 8 episodes of Peacemaker, and so if they were to like wait too much longer, it would overlap with Welcome to Derry. So yeah, I mean MTG, I think you probably made the best argument if it is indeed the idea that here is James Gunn made the show, but doesn't mean that James Gunn gets to decide when it releases on HBO. The folks in charge of HBO get to decide that. So, yeah, Pennywise, you clown, as Tony would say. Marco in the chat. Hello, Marco, saying Supergirl was rated R. It would be great. We actually will talk about that tomorrow because I've got some really cool fan art I found today on social media that we will have for John and I to talk about tomorrow. But it is kind of interesting, though, like Frankie just said. Who mentioned it? Tony did. That Lizz, Creature Commandos, of course, Peacemakers season 2 and season 1, and Clayface, they're all rated R. And in between those projects, we've got 2 super projects, Superman and Supergirl, both likely to be PG-13.
Yep.
People talk about how, of course, Marvel plays it safe all the time, although they've kind of changed that up recently. Does it make you feel better or worse that, or I don't know, like how do you feel about the idea that the majority of the DC projects in this new continuity so far are rated R, which traditionally would imply that they will have a more limited audience. Superman didn't have that, but even then, Superman wasn't like $1 billion movie. But there's other reasons we have talked about that. How do you feel about the output so far from the DC?
I mean, we're talking about it like this hasn't been something we've seen before. Like they've also released Aquaman and Suicide Squad. They've released Aquaman 2 and Birds of Prey. Like we've had different levels of maturity, different levels of content throughout DC's history before. So I don't care. I think James recognizes that the audience, the super fans, the people who have been watching these films, grow as they grow up, are all adults. Yes, he would like to appeal to younger fans. He would like more, young people to flock to comic book stores and to get into these comics and get into these characters. But at the end of the day, he's also trying to appeal to all audiences. And sometimes that means doing things for this one subset, doing things for that other subset. But he's still trying to come up with a tone that works, that's not cheesy, that's not a cash grab. He's trying to be very thoughtful in everything that he does, and it makes perfect sense to me. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick anything. Again, if he comes out with a fucking crypto cartoon children's series, all right, like I'm not gonna be mad about it and be like, well, how dare you? Because they said fucking Peacemaker 2, but you have a dog cartoon coming out. Pick a lane, James
that
Gunn.
dog, man.
I'm not gonna do that. It's goofy. Like, recognize the fucking industry and recognize that sometimes worlds can't collide, and other times where he can make it so, he will.
Yeah, and then again, speaking to the whole theory that, hey, maybe they're doing this because, like, when I say doing this, releasing Peacemaker in August as opposed to September, because they want to space things out between Peacemaker finishing its run and Welcome to Derry, the It prequel series that Andy Muschietti is producing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, Disney has kind of done the same thing, like where they will usually try to space out the Marvel Star Wars projects so they don't overlap. At most, I feel like they've overlapped by maybe a week, but generally speaking, they don't. And yeah, Peacemaker will end right around the time that Welcome to Derry would come out in October. We don't have an exact date, but I imagine we will find out soon enough. Lanterns, on the other hand, Enterprising, I don't know if that's rated R. I know that's been hinted at, but we don't have an official rating. So, and we haven't seen any footage outside of the image that they released. So, and some behind the scenes stuff that we have seen. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But like the Watcher is saying, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman will all be PG-13 because they want to have the widest appeal possible. I think one of you guys were mentioning maybe Supergirl will have a rated R version for DVDs, but will be largely PG-13.
And again, let's go back to Superman talking about it's trying to be family friendly. Shot a dude in the head, had giant middle fingers pushing tanks up off the ground. Let's be fair here.
That was true.
Be fair and say it was for what it was. It was still for adult audiences. And please, I have seen do you know how many little kids are going to be in Watchers with their adult fucking parents? Like, it's don't talk to me about content and about this age group and that age group. Adults are going to do dumbass shit. Kids are going to be exposed to stuff early. That's the way the world works. Judge the parents, don't judge the people putting the content out there. So whatever.
Yeah, and MPG saying as long as they can keep each show approachable, or at least each individual franchise approachable without having to watch the other franchises.
That's also what James wants to do. Yeah. So again, they'll throw Lex's name in there. We'll see Frank Grillo play Rick Flag Sr. in the cartoon version and in the live action version. So it does make sense, but at the same time, you don't, like, that's what he was saying. He doesn't want you to feel like you have to invest in every single project.
Yeah, and you know what? I do think that introducing more of that pocket universe idea, or expanding upon what they showed in Superman, is probably gonna. It is the central crux of the new season of Peacemaker, like MTG is saying. So we'll see. Your kids will see Peacemaker too. Yeah, kids will watch. I mean, because of course, like if kids are sitting in theaters watching Weapons, because some adult brought them in, like you said. You didn't say
about into the theater the other day when I was in Freakier Friday. They came in and they were like, "Is this Weapon?" No, kid, but be more obvious in what you're doing. But all right, hope they got to see it. Good for them. Hope they shit themselves.
Exactly. And you know what? I can't wait to see, like the Watcher is saying, I can't wait to see the multiverse done by DC, because the multiverse storytelling in DC, whether it's comics or animated, they've always done a good job. And even their crossovers with the Arrowverse were pretty good until the latter half of it. It all kind of like trickled out into a slow drawl until they finally killed the Arrowverse. But at its heyday, they were doing a pretty good job. So with that, hey, I think that we've come to the end of today's show. Superman coming out on digital right now. If you're watching live, you could probably go to Amazon Prime. You can go to Apple iTunes, wherever you can get your digital copy of a movie. You can rent it. You can buy Superman. And then September 23rd, I believe, we're going to be getting Superman on Blu-ray and DVD. So August 15th, Superman is right now available to watch at home on digital, but you can still go see it in a movie theater near you. James Gunn, of course, was asking the fans, are you going to see it at home or are you going to see it in the movie theater? Because, of course, Peacemaker comes out in literally less than a week's time. We'll be reviewing it here on the show. Liz, thank you for a couple of wonderful days on the show this week. We hope that you have a brilliant weekend. I'm sure you're going to be seeing a bunch of movies this weekend. Nobody 2, I think you're going to see this weekend.
Can't wait for Nobody 2. Woohoo!
I wonder if you're going to go see Highest to Lowest, because that's the other one that's coming out too. So let us know what you think about.
I don't know if I've heard of that one. Let me look.
It's a Denzel Washington movie. Spike Lee remaking one of I think it was originally a Japanese film. So yeah.
Well, they didn't advertise it worth a damn. I don't know anything about it.
It was like, I think it's A24 anyway.
I'll check it out. I'll watch him play the same character again. No problem.
Yeah. So you'll be back on the show next week, right? And we know John's coming back tomorrow from his assignment. So with that, I think we're going to call it a night. Guys, if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you're new. We see new people in the chat each and every day. We love the names. We love the little profile photos. So thank you so much. Frankie, Tony, Enterprising, Watcher, Movie Spud, Marco, everybody who was here early. M2G, of course. I'm sure I'm missing some names. Monique, all the usual suspects and the new folks. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Hope to see you again, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah. Yesh was here earlier. But hey, with that, as James Gunn would like to say, as Superman would like to tell you, who you can go watch again on your home theater screen, or just watch it on your phone. Don't watch it on your phone. Watch it on the biggest screen you can and the best sound system. Don't forget to look up.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
Oh, and we got Fancast Fridays as well tomorrow.